Fuck. I accidentally just clicked Red Dead. Hold on real quick, guys. I'm gonna I'm gonna go be a cowboy real quick. Hold on. See you guys later. Alright guys, what's up? Welcome into the fifth episode of the Offensive Line Podcast. Where this time we are going to rank week one QBs and predict kind of like what their future is gonna be. I'm Justin Martin and I'm joined here today by Casey Patrick. I forgot your last name for a second. And then Lee Sertain. How you guys doing? Pretty good? Yeah. We're missing one guy, but hey, if he joins in partway through, we can figure it out, you know. Casey making his feelings known early. So, before we get into the quarterbacks, let's go through a few NFL news headlines here. I think the big one is that the Julio Shannon Sharp debacle, where Julio might not have known that he was getting recorded and broadcast saying that he wants out of Atlanta. What do you guys make of that whole situation? I don't even know if it was real. And then also, I mean, yeah, of course he wants out of Atlanta. Like, I don't know. To me, that's obvious. Like, that team's, if he wants to win, he would want out of Atlanta. I mean, there's no way he's going to win there now. Oh, wait, Casey. There's no audio for some reason. Yeah. There
Go
you
ahead,
go.
Lee.
There you go. Now you're on. Now you're on.
Oh,
There we
okay.
go. All right, my bad.
No, you good. You good. No, like Shannon Sharp. Listen, if Shannon Sharp calls you in the middle of the day and says, "Hey, you want out of Atlanta?" Like, your first thought should be, "Oh, hey, wait a minute. You talk on TV all day long. You're probably on TV." So,
Yeah.
none of it makes sense to me. I feel like it was staged. I don't care what anybody says. But hey, Shannon Sharp, he could face up to like $1,000 penalty and at most like a year in prison.
That would be insane. That if that is the storyline that comes out of this, I'm all for it. No, not that I want Shannon Sharp to go to prison, but that would
I
just be
think
so wild that I think that would be
that would
interesting. I
be
guess
insane.
selfishly interesting.
I mean,
The other one,
I could see them trading him even before he said that he wanted out, just because he's getting older and they're trying to rebuild right now. So
yeah. I mean, I don't know if Julio's probably worth a 2 or a 3. I mean, he's worth a 1, I think for sure. But right now the market's probably a 2 or a 3. I I don't know why more teams aren't jumping on that. Maybe Atlanta's just waiting to see how high the price will go, but I think we'll see something very very soon as far as that goes.
I think so too. After June 1st.
Man, do you think all right, so I mean, I know the Titans are in the running for him. Does that I mean, obviously the Titans are a really good team and I guess Julio makes them a contender. Are you guys thinking that?
I think they're probably already contenders, just to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, quite frankly, this is what I've been telling everybody that I talk to. Derrick Henry is only going to be at this level of football for a few years. AJ Brown is still on a rookie contract. Ryan Tannehill's like 34 or 35 or something. So Father Time's going to start hitting him before too long. You have a window that's open, and it's probably the most open that it's ever been for this franchise, or since it's been, in Tennessee anyway. Now, defense, obviously, last year defense sucked. I put that on the coaching staff, and it don't matter if you put middle schoolers out there or you put all pro players out there. They were really bad. If they can figure out the defense, I think they're good anyway. But with this window as open as it is right now, go get everything that you can. Go get every piece of munition that you can, and then shoot your best shot at winning a Super Bowl. Because that's how you have to do it. You're not gonna beat teams like Tampa Bay or maybe even the Rams now. I mean, they're a really good Kansas City. There are really good football teams out there, and you're not gonna beat them unless you play the best you can with what you already have. If you can go out there and get any more talent, you just make your room for error a little bit bigger. So I think they should sell out, go get every single piece that they can to go win a Super Bowl right now.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at teams like Kansas City, when you look at teams like Tampa Bay, they're obviously just loaded with weapons. And then you look at Tennessee, I mean, they got Derrick Henry, AJ Brown's a weapon. I guess, I would consider him a weapon, but he's not like a top tier weapon, I don't think. No offense to him. But yeah, you put Julio on that team, Julio's a top tier weapon. I mean, I think that's what you got to do. Same for the Colts, who are also in the running. I know Green Bay's in the running, but I don't think there's any way that Green Bay does it. But yeah, I think you got to go out and get a Julio or someone else to really make yourself a championship contender.
Absolutely.
I agree. I think if the Titans get Julio, I mean, that would just open up a lot of stuff. It would make AJ Brown look better, of course. It would take focus off away from that they really don't have a tight end to throw to. And then they could use their tight ends to block more.
Firkser or whatever his name is. He's gonna go for like he's gonna be 1,000-yard receiver if Julio joins that team. Just fucking check it down.
Firkser's not a bad pass catcher, but his run blocking skills they're not really all that great. That's why I think they went out and they picked up Miller Forrestall from Alabama as an undrafted free agent who's known for his run blocking.
Yeah.
I think all that makes sense. I mean, Firkser, if he's the fourth option on the team, I don't feel so bad because I mean they do have Reynolds. Hopefully they have Julio Jones and AJ Brown. So I mean, I just see. Like I said, man, this window is as open as it's ever going to be. The Titans have already shown a willingness to basically, the risk over reward factor going after people like Jeffrey Simmons and now Caleb Farley in the draft in the first round.
Cut off their dicks for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Really, like, just, go out there and get your lottery ticket because if it hits, you got a top tier player. And no offense to Josh Reynolds or Mason Kinsey or Nick Westbrook-Heen or any of these other receivers that we got, but Julio Jones is Julio fucking Jones. If you have a chance to go get that dude, you want to win a Super Bowl, you go get Julio Jones. And I don't really care what it costs.
I mean, yeah, if the Chargers
or the draft pick.
Even if you got to pay him $20 million for 1 year.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I mean, we want to win the Super Bowl.
I mean, if the Chargers had the opportunity, I mean, I guess we do, but I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing them in the old, powder blue and yellow.
Yeah, you already got.
He'd be a good addition for y'all.
Oh my God, can you imagine Mike Williams, Julio Jones, Keenan Allen, Justin Herbert? Oh my God, just give us the trophy now.
Man, y'all got to block first.
Yeah, we got to figure that out, but I guess other than that, it's pretty much just Aaron Rodgers, right? Aaron Rodgers wanting out of Green Bay. Will he show up? Will he not show up? I mean, it's all speculation. No one really knows what Aaron Rodgers is going to do until he either shows up or retires, I guess, at this point. I don't think they're going to trade him. I mean,
I saw something the other day that kind of showed a timeline that made sense to me where I think it was like after the 2018 or 2019 season, he'd only thrown like 26 touchdowns and they thought Father Time was about to get to him. And they drafted Jordan Love and they told Aaron that they weren't going to bring him back after the 2019 or 2020 season, whichever one it was. And he went off and he had 40 touchdowns or whatever. He won MVP. And then they kind of went back on their word and they wouldn't let him go. And that's what pissed him off. And so he had already been told by the organization. This is what this tweet said. I don't know if it's true or not, but I mean, I'm just telling you
I could
what
see
I read.
it being real.
Yeah, they told him, hey, we're gonna let you go, and they said, you know, we're going to use Jordan Love. We're going to try and rebuild the team. And he said, I screwed it up because I threw 40 touchdowns. And now it makes more sense to me as to why he's so pissed off. And I don't blame you, because somebody tells you, hey, we're going to let you go. We're going to give you one more year. Go have fun. He goes out there and kicks
And
ass.
he goes
like,
out.
oh, wait a minute. Yeah, we went to the NFC Championship. Maybe we shouldn't get rid of the most physically talented quarterback in the last 20 years. So, I mean,
Wow, that's a really good thought, Casey. I can't believe that someone put that together. Maybe we shouldn't get rid of the most physically talented quarterback in the last 20 years.
That was my whole thought process. But I mean, he did have the one season where he threw like 26 touchdowns or whatever, and they thought, maybe, you know, time's catching up with him. But the Green Bay Packers are idiots. That's not my problem, and I don't care.
Man, this is kind of more about like his 26 touchdown season or whatever. He said it earlier this year when he was doing Pat McAfee's Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays, where they had him on every Tuesday or whatever. He said, down years, he's like, I had a down year, but he said, but don't forget, down years for me are career years for most guys. And I was like, oh God, that is so fucking one, it's true, but two, that's just that's such a big dick move, just to be like, look,
flex, bro.
yeah, because he
knows he's better than everybody else. I mean, like, as far as usually, I mean, there are Patrick Mahomes out there and shit like that, but he knows when it comes to like a Mount Rushmore quarterbacks that are currently playing, he's on that. He knows he's the motherfucker that balls, and he can say whatever he wants. He can do whatever he wants, because when that go, and Pat McAfee said this too. He said, when you know as a teammate, whether you're a punter, running back, linebacker, wide receiver, don't matter. You know when you have a guy like that. Like, you know when your quarterback is that dude. And he said it changes the way everybody prepares in the building. I felt the difference between Peyton Manning and the people that weren't Peyton Manning when they were in the building. And shit like that. I mean, that's why he can say stuff like that. And there's nothing you can do about it.
I mean, you can see it in the Patriots too. If you watch the mic'd up version of the 28-3 game, they're down 28-3, and the defensive players are going, hey man, we got Tom Brady. We just got to stop them. We got Tom Brady. So you're right. If you got that dude, then it makes everyone better, because they know that they're not out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's such a big difference, and I don't know why you would want to get rid of. I mean, Brett Favre was decent in his later years, but even then, I don't know why you would want to get rid of. You know what I'm saying? Like, Aaron hadn't proved himself at that point. You forced Brett into retirement. He goes on to New Jersey and then the Vikings, and I mean, he still plays 3 more years, makes it to the NFC Championship. Like, you figure the Packers would have learned from that, but instead they're almost doing the same thing with Aaron. And I don't know. Maybe Jordan Love's good. I mean, if he's good, he's good, and maybe they won't look like such idiots. But right now, they don't look very good.
Jordan Love is not Aaron Rodgers. He won't ever be Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I'm not a Packers fan, and
I hate the Packers, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a fucking badass dude.
Yeah, so when we get into this ranking the Week 1 QBs, you will notice that I did not put Jordan Love on this as an option.
Yeah, because the Packers didn't put him in a jersey last year. He
wasn't even dressed. Oh my God.
So like, here's our first round pick. Oh, by the way, you're not even going to wear pads this year. I'd be pissed off if I was Aaron Rodgers too. And he brought up, he said, I don't have an issue with Jordan. He said, I don't even really have an issue with the Jordan Love pick, because I knew I would be gone. He said what in the tweet, what was said is that he said he's pissed off that they told him he would be gone, and then they're like, oh, well, wait a minute, you threw 40 touchdowns.
We got to keep you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really mind Jordan Love. I'd like to see what he could do. I mean, I know the kid's got talent, arm talent, and he's athletic and all that, but Man, there are only a few quarterbacks in the league every year that you know are going to ball out. And if you've got one, you got one. You don't need. Oh God, these people with quarterbacks are so stupid. These coaches are so egotistical. They think they can take anybody, put them under center, and as long as they don't screw up, they can win football games. But that's not how this shit goes anymore. You got to have a dude that can ball.
That
You
John
can't-
Gruden
you can't-
mentality.
Yeah,
That
you
Joe-
can't have like Trent Dilfer carry. Who was it? Those Ravens teams? They got to the Super
Yeah.
Bowl. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
That Ravens defense was nuts, and they won the Super Bowl. That
Rex
was
Grossman with the
Dilfer,
Bears.
Like, really?
Yeah, that was 20 years ago. I mean, you're not going to have somebody like if Andy Dalton is your starting quarterback, you're not going to win the Super Bowl. I don't give a shit how good the rest of the guys are. It's just
I
not
like
gonna
Andy Dalton, but yeah, it's not gonna happen. You're right.
No,
You're
it's
absolutely
not.
right. So yeah, let's go ahead and
Rodgers
get.
would've had, my bad. If Aaron Rodgers would have had some weapons, he'd have been in the NFC Championship.
Yeah, or offensive
great
linemen
years.
that aren't 50 years old. Maybe a little bit more help on defense. Like, legitimately, anything could have helped the Packers get to the Super Bowl in the last 2 seasons. And I don't blame him one bit for being pissed off.
I think another thing is that a lot of people are like, "Oh, he's got Devontae Adams, he's got Aaron Jones, he's got weapons." Well, yeah, he's got one receiver. You look at the Bucks; they've got 4 or 5 deep on really good receivers. Like, nothing against Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Yeah, nothing against him, but he drops balls. Like, I watched that NFC Championship game, and he drops balls that are just right in the pocket. That, it's just it is what it is. Like, he's not to the level that the Bucks have or the Chiefs have, or I mean, fuck, even some of the other teams have.
Even the Chargers. The Chargers have
The
better
Chargers have better weapons than the Packers.
And plus, and I don't want to piss off any Packers fans that might watch this. I like Devontae Adams. How good is Devontae Adams if Gardner Minshew is his quarterback?
That's another question, yeah. What comes first, the chicken or the egg kind of thing. I mean, yeah, Devontae Adams is great, but yeah,
He's
if
a
Aaron's
route. He can run a hell of a route, dude. He is.
Absolutely. But if his
Maybe the
quarterback
best.
isn't Aaron Rodgers, is he this all-pro that we know him to be? Or is he just like a 70 catches for 900 yards a guy type, or 900 yards a year type guy? Which is still baller. Don't get me wrong. Like, that's a great receiver. And I think Devontae Adams would still be good. But is he as good as we think he is without Aaron Rodgers? Hell no, he ain't.
No, definitely not. Especially if Jordan loves his quarterback. Let's go ahead and get into the. There we go. The ranking the NFL quarterbacks. So I've got about, I think it's 40 options, 39 options, something like that. Here, some teams have multiple options. They have competition, so I included as many as I could. And we got MVP level, we've got top 10, we've got average, rough year, trash can, and just won't play. I guess we'll go in the order that it gives us, even though I don't really like the way that we're starting out here with Trey Lance. So week 1, do you guys think that Trey Lance will play week 1?
Yes.
Ooh, yes. Okay.
Jimmy
All right.
fucking Garoppolo.
I think they start Jimmy Garoppolo week 1.
I can beat out Jimmy Garoppolo for the quarterback job. He crutches.
Lee, you're the decider here. Do you think Jimmy Garoppolo?
I don't think it's Trey Lance. I think it's Garoppolo.
All right,
That's fine.
so Trey Lance goes in the won't play week 1. Deshaun Watson, I don't think he plays for the legal reasons.
Right.
Yeah, no.
I don't
Yeah,
think,
he won't play.
All right. Cam Newton, week 1. I think he plays.
Yeah, but he's trash can. He plays, but he's trash.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Oh, you think trash can too? Yeah, I was thinking rough year, but if you say trash can, I'll put him there.
He had 8 touchdowns last year.
I know, but it was a
8
COVID.
passing
It was a COVID year. I just like Cam. I don't know. I want Cam to do well. I guess that's really more. It's my optimism.
He mathematically threw half a touchdown for every game.
Hey, he ran for a few.
He ran for 12, so he's got 20 total touchdowns.
Which leads us back to that Aaron Rodgers my down years, career years for most guys.
If Cam Newton threw 26 touchdown passes, he would be MVP level because that's damn near what he did when he won MVP. Because he ran for like 10, and I think he threw like 28 or something. I may be way off, but his numbers were insane that year overall. But he didn't throw 45 touchdown passes.
All right, so Tyrod Taylor. This is for the Houston Texans job, Week 1. Do you think it's Tyrod Taylor?
Oh shit! I didn't even know he was in Houston.
Yeah, so it's Deshaun, Davis Mills, or Tyrod Taylor, basically.
I think with like a rookie coach, and I mean realistically, they're just trying to put butts in seats. There's no way they expect to win. I'd probably start the rookie quarterback, throw him into the fire, see if he sucks or not. I don't think Tyrod Taylor plays. If he does play, it's gonna be rough because they have no help.
What do you think, Lee? Where are you putting Tyrod?
I think Tyrod Taylor starts just because of his experience.
I say he starts too, but I'm saying trash can. Like he's not gonna lose you games, but he's not gonna win them either.
He's more of a trash can because of the guys around him. Cam Newton's a trash can because he's a trash can.
Fire takes coming off the top here. Dak Prescott, obviously, I think we all agree he'll play. I'm thinking like up here, maybe top 10.
I got top 10.
All right, top 10.
Stats-wise, he's going to put up insane stats. If McCarthy wasn't such an idiot, and if their defense can halfway play decent, the Cowboys should win that division running away.
Yeah, I agree. Especially, that division just sucks. If your team is decent, you can win that division pretty easily.
The Redskins won it last year 7. The Washington football team won it last year at 7-9. Let the Cowboys fan talk. I want to know what he thinks.
Oh yeah,
I think he's MVP level. I do.
Okay.
With all the weapons he's got,
he can do it.
Zeke. I think this is a comeback year for Zeke. I think our whole offense is just going to click. Our defense is going to be better. There's no doubt that they're going to be better. We got too many upgrades in the draft.
If the Cowboys can win 10 games, I don't know if Dak Prescott's going to average 438 yards a game like he did for the first couple games last year, but I think Dak Prescott could put up MVP type numbers.
Yeah,
he can. It all depends too.
Well, it's also whether it's inflated.
Those first 4 games, he was down. They was down in every game those first 4 games, so he had to throw
give up like 40 points a game,
60 fucking passes every game. So
just throw the shit out of the ball.
It was fun to watch though, especially that one week where he and Russell Wilson played each other, and it was like I want to say like 50 something points apiece on each team. It was something crazy like that.
It's fantasy football galore. Oh, yeah. I mean, that shit's fun to watch. You got one of those receivers out there.
All right, Drew Lock. Where you guys got Drew Lock? Won't play? Game. Oh, you think he'll start week 1 though?
Yeah. Who else they got? Bridgewater? He's better than Bridgewater.
Yeah, Bridgewater.
Okay, so we're going trash can for Drew Lock.
Well, I don't know. Maybe Bridgewater starts.
I mean, I don't know. I think they throw Drew Lock out there, and if he doesn't do very well, they throw Teddy out there.
They're the same version of the same quarterback. I mean, Teddy's maybe a little bit more mobile, but I mean, ain't neither one of them balling.
I mean, that's a toss-up.
Jalen Hurts, Eagles.
He starts.
Yeah, he starts. Who else they got?
He's gonna have a rough year though.
Yeah. There's really no competition, I don't think, for him. I agree. Rough year for Jalen Hurts.
Just because other than Devontae Smith, I don't know what else they got. But I love that dude's competitiveness and his heart. I like the way that dude battles.
Yeah, he competes.
I would want him on my football team, but I feel bad for him in the situation he's in.
Especially new coach, too. I mean, you're going to have a new offense, new everything for a second-year quarterback. I mean, Justin Herbert's going through the same thing, but I don't know if they're on the same level, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, not with arm accuracy and stuff like that.
No, God, no.
Big Ben.
He He's starting.
Well, yeah, he's definitely starting, but where do you? I'd say probably average to rough year for Big Ben.
Yeah, I'm going average.
I
Average?
say
I like Ben.
yeah, because he's still good enough that he can make plays. He's just mobile enough he can get away from a little bit of a rush. He's got Juju. They just that's a I hate the Pittsburgh Steelers, but that's a franchise that knows how to win.
And then
Even
lose.
even do what?
I said win 11 and then lose.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I mean, I think he's at worst average because he's gonna make things happen.
This is kind of weird. I cannot see the YouTube thing, so I hope the stream is still going. So I might have to click over every now and then and just make sure that we are still live. All right, we talked about him. Aaron Rodgers. Where are we at? Does he play? I mean, he's an interesting one because he's either at the bottom, won't play, or he's MVP level in my eyes. Like
Now, I don't
he's
care what team he's on. He's an MVP.
Yeah, he's MVP level for sure. Only
But
way he don't play is if he retires.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think we put him MVP level.
Because I mean, what's the most realistic landing spot other than Green Bay? I don't think he retires. I think he might go to Denver, right?
Yeah, but
If
I think that was that would have had to happen before the draft. I think I don't know if it's gonna happen now.
I don't know. I have no idea. But if he plays, he's MVP level.
All right, Lee's favorite backup quarterback, Andy Dalton. I mean, Andy can ball. I just don't know. I think he's either average. I think if he starts, he's rough year. If he starts,
He's either trash can or he don't start.
Oh.
I think he starts, but I think he's in the trash can.
man, you guys are rough out here.
Yeah, I mean, you got real quarterbacks in the league, and then you got these other dudes that are just making money from teams. They're not good quarterbacks.
All right, Zach Wilson, first year out of BYU. He definitely starts.
They ain't got no choice to start him, I don't think.
Yeah, I think he could be decent though. I think he could be average.
He's average. That offensive line has got some pieces on it that they're not as bad as it used to be. They went out and got some receivers.
Now,
I like him.
here's a question though. Rookie quarterbacks, because you almost have to grade them differently. Because rookie quarterbacks, an average rookie quarterback, Justin Herbert was probably average last year, but he wins Rookie of the Year. So if you put Zach Wilson at average, does he become? Does that mean he's a Rookie of the Year winner? I don't.
He's definitely a candidate, I think, without playing.
Yeah.
He's definitely in one of those two slots between average and rough year.
Yeah.
But it's all on him. I think how good he does is completely on him. I don't think his pieces are that bad. They built the offensive line a little bit.
Good coaching
they're
staff.
Obviously not. I mean, they're obviously not Tampa Bay roster, right? But it's not like going to the Jaguars or the Bears offense and just having to fend for yourself. So I mean, it's kind of middle of the road as far as his stats. I think they're going to be based primarily off of his play. I don't think it really has a lot to do with what's around him. But I say average because I like Mekhi Becton and the other tackle.
Yeah, who do they take? Yeah, I was trying to think of that.
My brain doesn't work right now. It's after lunch. But now I would say average, personally.
Yeah. Okay. I'm willing to put it there. Next we got Sam Darnold.
Top 10.
He's God.
Hey,
all right.
Y'all can put him wherever you want. I don't care. That's fine.
I was thinking.
Where's he at? Panthers now?
Panthers. Yeah. Joe Brady is his offensive coordinator. I got
faith. I got faith in Brady. I like Matt Rule. I think Sam Darnold winds up. I've said this before on the podcast. I think Sam Darnold could be a Pro Bowl quarterback at the end of the year.
I mean,
I don't know.
That's fine. Hey, that's all right. I'm just telling you right now. Keep your receipts. Save this shit. I'm telling you, at the end of the year. I think dude's gonna.
I think he's gonna have a rough year.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think he's a rough year too.
Hey,
yeah,
put him in the trash
but
can.
he does get to throw to Christian McCaffrey.
I don't think he's a trash can. I don't know what he is. I think that's my problem with Sam Darnold is like sometimes he like I watch like a game, like a highlight or a game from the Jets, and it's like, oh, that's a good throw. And then sometimes I watch it, I'm like, what is he doing out there? Like, has he played NFL before? Like, is he a rookie still 3 years in? I don't know. But yeah,
I'm
I think
just saying this so it's saved on the interweb at the end of the year. And if I'm wrong, y'all can dog me to hell and back. But I'm telling you, I believe Sam Darnold will be damn near a Pro Bowl quarterback by the end of this year.
I mean, I hope you're right. Honestly, that'd be awesome. That'd be a hell of a story. Taylor Heineke. Oh, it's him or Fitzmagic for the
Won't play.
football.
I don't think he plays.
I don't think he does either.
They love Fitzpatrick. I mean that's all their social media feed is on Twitter is them sharing videos of Ryan Fitzpatrick having fun. I don't think Heineke plays, and if he does, it's going to be because Fitzpatrick gets like knocked out or something in a game.
Right, or he throws 4 interceptions. 3 out of 4 games.
He goes Fitz tragic.
Yeah, but Fitzmagic goes 20 for 40 for 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. But your team might have a chance to kick the game-winning field goal. You have no idea what that dude does.
I know, it's so amazing. I love it.
He is he's like a quarterback, but like heroin. I mean, like you legit have no idea where the fuck he's going.
I think that I'm gonna eventually buy a Fitzpatrick jersey. Like, I don't know which one. Maybe I'll get all of them just for fun. But
Get the Titans.
You have to buy like 18 jerseys.
Yeah, exactly. But it'd be so fun to have a. I don't know. I just love him. Like, I don't know why people hate on him so much, but he is so fun to watch. And as far as like normal quarterbacks go, like, he's probably one of my favorites. Like, just average quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins, Minnesota Vikings, no competition.
He starts. He's average, I think.
Average.
Yeah, I agree.
At best.
Jared Goff.
I do
go
like
ahead.
Justin Jefferson, just real quick. I do like Justin Jefferson. I like Adam Thielen. I like Dalvin Cook. I think he kind of holds them back, but he's not going to – I don't think he's a rough year guy because I think he's got so many weapons that it's going to be hard to be really bad. But he's the reason why their offense doesn't put up more points, to be honest. Their offensive line could use some help, but I think he is bottom of the barrel average, though.
Yeah, he's a game manager for sure. He's not going to, throw for 500 yards, but he's not going to necessarily lose you the game either.
Right, I don't think he earned that contract he got from Minnesota to get that.
No,
84 guaranteed.
I mean, that guy, but hey, good for him though, getting franchise tagged that many times, getting all that money, and then going to Minnesota and getting all that money.
Yeah, that was great for him.
Absolutely, get the back.
Yeah, that guy's agent. I want him. Like, if I'm going into the league, I'm like, who's Kirk Cousins' agent?
MVP level agent.
Jared Goff, first year for the Lions.
Rough.
He'll have a rough year. He ain't got nobody. He ain't got
nobody.
That's what happened.
Yeah, I agree. Rough year.
He's got 3 average running backs, and that's it. Bad offensive line, no real weapons outside. I like TJ Hawkins.
Let Galladay go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a rough ass situation.
Yeah, they didn't even draft a wide receiver, or at least not like a top one. I don't think. Off top of my head.
Offensive lineman, thank God.
Yeah. Baker Mayfield, Cleveland Browns. Obviously no competition, so he starts.
I think he's average, but he's probably going to end up in the top 10 because they've fixed their offense. Kevin Stefanski fixed their offense,
and we don't have anyone in the top 10 right now except for Dak.
I know, because most of them in the trash. But I think Baker winds up in the top 10 just because we don't have a lot of people there yet. But they fixed their offense to run the ball. They've got Hunt. They've got Chubb. Chubb is if Derrick Henry wasn't like a real live football player, Chubb would lead the NFL in rushing every year. They have fixed their offense. They've got some weapons outside to throw to. They understand how to play football. They play really good defense. It's a really good team now. I think Baker ends up in the top 10, even though I think he's more average, but because of his situation, he ends up top 10 to me.
I think I agree with that.
I agree too. Just because he's got pretty decent receivers,
Mhm.
and both the running backs can catch, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, if he still plays for him.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I don't
But,
think they lost anyone really. They still have Odell. They still have Jarvis Landry. They still got T. Higgins from Clemson, right?
No, he plays for Cincinnati.
Oh
the
yeah.
Bengals.
Wait,
They
no.
got
Who am I
somebody
thinking of?
else,
Yeah, they got a wide receiver though. What's his name? Fuck.
I can't remember.
That's kind of bothering me now. They definitely have a like that kind of guy though. Man,
Good tight ends too.
yeah, they got good tight ends. Alex Hooper.
Austin.
Yeah,
and
Austin
then-
Hooper. Yeah,
Oh, is it
Yeah.
Austin? Yeah, you're right. And then David Njoku from the U.
I think Njoku might have got out, or is it trying to get out? Maybe.
he was
Uh,
a free agent or something. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think you're right. Now that I'm thinking
I don't
about
know.
it.
I have no idea. But either way, top 10 to me.
Matty Stafford.
Top 10.
Top 10.
I agree.
With Sean McVay,
I mean, I
don't think he's MVP. Not yet. Not yet. I got to see a little bit from him first. He might be, but he's definitely top 10 to me.
I'm so excited for that. I am so excited to watch Rams games next year. Like, I'm gonna record every single Rams game and just like sit down with a big old bag of popcorn and just fucking. Oh yeah, I'll probably just skip through the defensive part too. Just
Okay, just look at it. I mean, their defense is actually really good too. But just look at it this way: when Jeff Fisher was the coach there, and they had Jared Goff. Jared Goff was god awful, right? And then they brought in Sean McVay, and he brought Jared Goff up to highest paid quarterback in the NFL kind of play. It wasn't quite there yet, but Jared Goff played really well that one year.
Yeah.
Now they've gotten rid of Jared Goff, who is average, mediocre across the board, physically talented-wise, and brought in Matthew Stafford, who's got one of the strongest arms. He's got experience. He's got everything you want. They've got good receivers. They've got a bunch of different running backs back there. I like Cam Akers. The offensive line is a little bit older, but they're not bad. I don't think he'll play MVP level, but I do think he ends up top 10, and I'm really happy for him. I'm happy to see how well they're going to do, and I wouldn't mind seeing the Rams win the Super Bowl if the Titans don't do it, to be honest. I like them.
I think there's another thing too to say about the situation. Like, I mean, granted, I've never been to Detroit, but one of the things I always hear about Detroit is how much of a shithole it is. Then you go to LA, his best friend Clayton Kershaw plays for the Dodgers. It's Southern California. It's beautiful. You know, maybe it's more expensive, but whatever, you know.
He's a football player making millions. He's sitting on the beach drinking Zambuki right now. He don't give a shit.
Exactly. Like,
I
think
mean, Matthew Stafford deserves that life. You know what I mean? After being in Detroit
After
that damn
playing
long,
in Detroit, hell yeah.
like, he deserves that.
Can you imagine if I know the Rams were also in the talks for Julio? Can you imagine if they got Julio? Oh my
man.
god! Like if they
It'd be
didn't
like
win a
having
Super
Calvin
Bowl,
Johnson back.
yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
That'd be crazy.
Just throw it up to Julio. That's our play, our one play in the offense.
That's what Kyler Murray does half the time with DeAndre Hopkins, and I don't blame him. I do the same shit too.
What does he say? Shit, D-Hop out there somewhere.
Can't even see over the line and
He's just flinging it.
yards down the field, falling out of bounds.
Talk about the greatest play, probably of the season. Honestly, that was insane. That
It
was
was nuts.
definitely of the regular
Man.
season.
Yep, that was a jaw dropper.
Joey Burrow, where's he going? So they got another weapon. They got what's his face from LSU.
Jamar Chase.
Yes, thank you.
Anybody else want to go first? Because I got a little bit of shit I need to say about this.
I think he's rough year. Honestly, I think so.
I think he's average going on top 10. I really do.
Oh, okay, all right.
He kind of proved himself before he got injured last year. He was putting up some pretty good numbers.
Yeah, he's great, but I just don't believe. No, I have no problem with Joe Burrow. It's just everything else surrounding him that I have a problem with, and I'm not sure if it's mostly the coaching staff, honestly, if I'm being honest.
I feel like he has good chemistry. I think he's gonna be a good NFL quarterback.
All right, where you at, Casey?
Okay, now let me tell you something. I agree with both of y'all. Like I'm in the middle of both of you. I think that Joe Burrow right now is an average quarterback at worst. The only reason he wouldn't be top 10 right now is because of the people blocking in front of him and the guy calling plays.
Yep.
If they had a halfway decent offensive line with the weapons that he's got and Joe Mixon, and then a coach that had any type of brain function whatsoever, you're talking about a guy that I mean I don't want to say MVP level, but I think he's closer to MVP level than average if he's got a halfway decent offensive line and better coaching staff. So he's definitely average for me. He would be top 10 with maybe two guys up front that I thought was a little bit better. I agree with what both of y'all said, but at least average for me. At least he would be top 10 with better offensive linemen.
I think if you put Joe Burrow on the Chargers or the Dolphins instead of like Cincinnati drafting him last year, I think he's a top 10 quarterback. And I think he wins Rookie of the Year. And Justin Herbert's probably the one laying in Cincinnati on that field with a torn ACL.
with a good offensive line, a full last year of experience, and a few weapons outside to throw the ball to, I think he's MVP level.
So yeah, I'm willing to go average because yeah, I think average is probably his. I don't want to say it's his ceiling because I think he could even still go top 10, but I think it's the most likely, I guess. Teddy Bridgewater, we decided he wasn't going to play. All right.
Yeah. Okay, real quick, just about Teddy Bridgewater.
All right.
If he does play, I think he might be a little bit better than Locke. Now that I think about it, and when I say a little bit better,
I agree.
I mean, he's like bottom end of rough year though. I mean, I still don't think he's that good, but he might be a little bit better than Drew Lock. You can put both of them in whatever category you want. I don't really give a damn.
All right, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Rough.
I think he lives in rough year. That's his whole career.
Well, he goes from average to rough year to back to average to
trash can.
Well,
all within 1 year, yeah.
Like 3/4 of a football game. I mean, but when he's trash can, he's god awful. Just absolutely awful. Like Nathan Peterman at the Bills, awful.
Yeah, he's really bad sometimes. But God, I love him.
Yeah, I do too. But I say rough. I say rough personally.
I say rough year.
I agree. All right, now here's the boys down in New Orleans. So we got Taysom Hill, we got Jameis Winston. One of them's got to start week 1. So who do you think's going to start week 1? I think it's going to be Jameis.
I think you could make a case that both of them play a good bit of quarterback every week.
Oh, you're thinking like a dual quarterback situation.
They did that shit last year.
That's true. They did,
maybe
yeah.
even more than that, because Sean Payton don't trust Jameis Winston as much as he trusted Drew Brees. Drew Brees could have thrown left-handed, and he'd still trust Drew Brees more than he trusts Jameis Winston. And you don't blame him for that. But that being said, I think you could put both of them above the won't play thing. Now, is Taysom Hill technically the starter? No, absolutely not. But he's still going to play enough to warrant some kind of reaction here in this, trash can to average type deal.
Exactly.
Actually, yeah, I think you changed my mind here. I think I like the idea of I don't know if I like it, but I like the idea of that's what they'll do is going with the dual quarterback situation. So I think you're right. I think we have to put them both on because I think they both could be week 1 starters technically. I mean, someone's going to start the first possession, but they're both probably going to play.
And it's probably Jameis Winston unless the Saints go out and trade for Aaron Rodgers, which would be cool as shit.
Oh man, that's
there's
terrifying.
no way they can afford him, but it would be cool.
Can you imagine? Oh man, fucking oh god. I think the Tampa Bay would burn if Aaron Rodgers got traded to the.
That'd
New
be a
Orleans
fun division
Saints.
to watch.
Yeah, it would. I mean, it was last year too, in a way, until Drew kind of started getting hurt again.
Yep.
All right. So where does Jameis fall? You guys think?
You need to make a new category for I have no fucking clue.
I mean, he's the most inconsistent quarterback that's ever lived. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably yeah.
His first career touch, first pass
Was a
was
pick
a
six.
His
Yep.
last pass
The Tit-
for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was a pick six. There's nobody on this planet. You can have people guess, but there's not a single person out there that can go, you know what? I know for a fact he's going to do this or that because you don't know. Nobody knows. He don't know what he's going to do. It's a complete toss up. I think. I mean, I don't want to put him in average because I'd hate to give him that much. Like,
Yeah, same.
If he is average, it's because Sean Payton. It's because of halfway decent weapons. Alvin Kamara, not a bad offensive line, a good defense.
good system. Yeah.
But he's he is a rough year guy. He is a rough year, damn near trash can.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put him. I think I would put him in rough year.
Yeah, just because he might start just out of default because I don't know if Taysom Hill can even make all the throws on the field and
And then
But
we put
even-
Taysom Hill at MVP level, right?
he's a MVP special teams guy for sure.
I love the thing like what they use Taysom Hill for, but
Right.
on this list he's a trash can quarterback.
I agree.
If he was a top 10 or even an average quarterback, Jameis Winston would not have a job.
Yeah,
They wouldn't need Jameis.
There wouldn't be a debate, exactly.
They wouldn't need him. But Taysom Hill's he's not a great quarterback. He is a jack of all trades, and I love using him that way, but he's not, man, he's definitely not like full 600 passes type starter material. He's just not.
The offense is too predictable with him under center, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like even when you watched him play, what was it last year? It was like, it's like he has a bad game, he has a good game, he has an okay.
Right.
Well, even his good games are like probably average, I would say. But I would say most of his games were probably in the rough year to trash can. So I have no problem putting him in trash can. What
He
about
had a couple good games, but
what about Tua?
I lean towards rough year because he didn't really show me a whole lot last year that was any good. I think he can be average. I like some of the weapons they have around him, but I still don't know if I trust Tua.
Tua also, he came out, what was it, a few days ago, maybe a week or so ago now, and said that he didn't really understand the offense last year. Like, he didn't even really understand what they were doing on during plays and stuff. So I think that if with a full off season, I think he can be average. So I'd probably lean towards average, honestly.
If we put him average, I'm okay with that, but only because of the people around him, the culture that Brian Flores is building. I really like him as a coach. I like some of the guys they have. If we put him in average, it's because of the people around him, not because of him. I'm still scared to death of Tua Tagovailoa.
Lee, where do you fall?
Trust, yes.
What'd you say?
Said he's kind of hard to trust, especially from a fantasy football perspective.
Oh God, no way! I'm not drafting.
So what? All right. So you guys are thinking rough year then?
I think rough year. I do.
Yeah, I do too.
All right. Yeah, I'm willing to concede that.
If it's average, it's because of the people around him.
Oh, sorry. There are some comments here. I'm not high on Stafford this year. He never had a D like he does or a run game. Plus, his receivers aren't the best deep threats. Definitely downgraded deep threats, even if they're overall better receivers. But they do got a good pass D. So Carr, he would say that Derek Carr would get 240 with 2 T's. I don't know, but he's saying that he thinks that Stafford should be lower. Is what this commenter is saying. Forrest Law.
we only got 4 people in the top 10. We got to have somebody up there.
Yeah, somebody's got
People in the top
Yeah,
And
that's
I
true.
think,
Yeah.
honestly, at this point, I think you probably could move Ben up, but I think we can wait towards the end and maybe move a couple guys around.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I
No,
mean,
yeah. At the
obviously,
end, at the end, we're gonna be moving around. Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
Right. Well, obviously, Deshaun Watson, if he wasn't in legal trouble, he'd be MVP
Top 10.
level or
Yeah, yeah.
easy.
All right. The guy that I think you guys are gonna be very high on, Ryan Tannehill. Well, at least Casey, Ryan Tannehill.
He's a top 10 quarterback. 40 touchdowns last year. 40. He had 32 passing and 8 40
No,
touchdowns.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing. I just love that there was complete silence there for a minute.
Hey, I don't care. I don't care if I'm the only person on this planet that thinks Ryan Tannehill's a top 10 quarterback. I'll die on this hill. 40 touchdowns last year to I think he had 7 or 8 picks. That is top 10 quarterback
It
every
is.
year.
It is.
All day.
You're absolutely right. But this is predictions. So they lose Corey Davis. Does it make that big of a difference? They lose Jonnu Smith. They've lost some
I'm
offensive
predicting they
weapons.
go get Julio Jones.
Yeah,
like
if they get
Jonnu
Julio
Smith-
Jones, we might be talking MVP level.
I don't think he can do that only because Derrick Henry's going to touch the ball 400 times.
That's true too. Yeah.
I mean, the league is such a pass-happy league that Tannehill, even at his best, he's never going to throw the ball enough to put up the kind of numbers that Patrick Mahomes will. So, I mean, he's just not going to win MVP. But I do think he's top 10. I will verbally argue with any person on this planet as long as they want to go 40 touchdowns, 8 turnovers. Kiss my ass. He's top 10 quarterback. I don't care. I'll sit here and argue with anybody about it.
Lee, what do you think?
I mean, he's definitely on the average going up, but I don't know if I can put him in top 10. I don't know.
I think
I don't know. I think I need one more. I mean, he's running out of years, but I'm saying, but I don't know, man.
I think I'm putting him top 10 for now, and then
He
maybe
played
at
in
the end of
Pro
this.
Bowl. He played in the Pro. He was a Pro Bowler last year. That means he's technically at least top 8 because you got 3 from his team and you got the 2 Super Bowl quarterbacks. To me, he's definitely in the top 10, and that's fine if y'all want to put him average. Rough year, I don't really give a damn. I'm telling you right
Trash
now,
can's what I was thinking actually.
I think he's top 10.
Yeah, no, I think right now we put him top 10. Maybe at the end of this, like I said, we're gonna probably move some guys around once we start looking at Big Ben versus Jalen Hurts or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Trevor Lawrence.
Rough.
Ooh, rough year.
Rough year.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Trevor Lawrence. He's got all the talent in the world. His best receiver is DJ Chark.
Yeah, that's fair.
His best offensive lineman is Cam Robinson. I mean, those aren't bad players, but those are the best players you have around you. I think James Robinson and I think Travis Etienne as a duo in the backfield can be electric. But who's going
If
to
he's
block?
even in the backfield.
Who's going to catch? Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to use Travis Etienne out of the slot.
Their slot receiver didn't even play receiver in college. Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. I think,
but it's going to be rough for him. I mean, because that's going to be a culture shock. He's going from a winning lifestyle. He's just like Lee talked about this in the last podcast. He's never been a loser. He's won everything he's ever done until maybe he's lost a championship here and there, or whatever. But it's going to be a culture shock because they might win 5-6 games next year at most, and he's going to get his ass kicked a lot. And he's going to be on the ground. He's going to be in the dirt. It's going to be rough on him. Is he an absolute baller? Hell yeah, he is. But he's not. It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough on him.
Yeah, I think so too. Trevor Lawrence, I mean, he could probably, his ceiling, I would say, is average. He could be trash can. I doubt it, but I think
his ceiling is MVP level, but that's with the halfway decent offensive line and somebody that can catch the ball.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you take Trevor Lawrence and put him on, I don't want to say the Packers, but if you put him on Tampa Bay, he's probably top 10.
Absolutely.
Lamar Jackson. This is interesting, actually. Okay.
He's going to put up MVP numbers
on the ground.
And he's not nearly as bad at throwing the ball as people think he is.
No, he's not. He's not.
He does shit every once in a while, and the ball comes out of his hand sideways, and he throws ducks every once in a while. But his numbers are going to be MVP level, and he's going to get the Ravens to the playoffs.
I can't argue that. Yeah.
I can't
To me, now Lamar. Here's the deal: Lamar has won me. I've got a gold belt in my room. Fantasy football champion 2 years in a row, back to back. It's because Lamar Jackson has saved my ass. Now, last year he played like doo-doo because they tried to do all kinds of different stuff. And then whenever they got back to Lamar Jackson being Lamar Jackson, he went off. And that just so happened to be in the fantasy football playoffs, and I won again. If they play like that the entire time and they let Lamar's not going to play 20 years in the league, because for him to be successful, he has to run and he's going to get killed over time. But for them to be successful, they have to allow him to do that. And if he does that, he's going to put up MVP level numbers over 17 games.
Yeah, honestly, I think you convinced me.
Yeah.
I was thinking average, but maybe you're right.
He's top 10 at the lowest. Just because
Absolutely.
of his running ability. I mean,
Absolutely.
he's just a playmaker.
Right. I'm willing to put him at MVP. I mean, if you guys are cool with that. I mean, obviously Casey is.
Now, if they come out and try to make him run an offense like Tom Brady, you're going to see a guy that has a rough ass year, because he doesn't need to sit in the pocket, be still, and throw like 80 different routes to his receivers. That's not him, and it's okay to admit that if you're a Ravens fan. He's not a bad passer, he's at all, but he is so good with the ball in his hand and making plays, whether it's scrambling and then throwing or just making people miss running the ball. He's so good at doing that. You have to allow him to do that for him to be at his best. If he stands back there and he throws the ball 550 times in the year, they're not going to be good.
Yeah, I mean, I think so, yeah. I mean, he already has an MVP. I mean, I guess that's another point, right? He already has an MVP from, 2 years ago? So he has to be at least top 10. Like, last year wasn't that bad. Like,
there's no way he's not at least top 10 to me. And I hate the Ravens. I'm a Titans fan. I hate the Ravens. He's at least top 10. I think he's MVP level if they use him the way they should.
He's a top 10 overall quarterback. I mean, is he a top 10 passing quarterback? Probably not. But he's a top 10 overall quarterback. He is.
All right. So now this kind of makes things interesting too. Russell Wilson. Obviously, he can put up MVP level numbers, but will the Seahawks win enough to do that?
I don't think the words out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was going to say.
I don't know if you can put him below top 10. I don't think you can.
Not at all.
Okay, so we'll start there. So we'll start top 10. I don't know.
If all these dudes are on the same level playing field with the same supporting cast, Russell Wilson is one of, if not the best quarterbacks in the entire league.
Top 3, I'd say.
Exactly. I mean, you've got Aaron Rodgers, you got Patrick Mahomes,
Russell Wilson.
Josh Allen. You got people like Russell Wilson. This dude's a real baller. He is, and he would win MVP if his team around him didn't suck complete ass. He's at least top 10.
Yeah, outside of DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, there's not a lot of talent over them.
Their offensive line is still god awful, and
like for the entire career. Like, how can you not draft an offensive lineman that's worth a fucking shit, or sign one that's worth a fucking? I don't understand it. Like,
I don't get it. Because you got a franchise quarterback, keep him up off his ass, and you can win football games.
Like, granted, Russell is amazing on the run and when he's scrambling and making these plays out of his ass and stuff like that, but I wouldn't want my quarterback to do that every single play. Like,
no, he's not doing that because it's fun. He's doing it because it keeps him from getting killed. He's running for his life.
Like, no wonder he comes out.
Ran for his life.
Every year, it seems like we're talking about this with Russell Wilson. Like,
when they had a good defense, they won the Super Bowl. They beat the shit out of the Broncos. So just imagine what you can do if you give this guy some help. His offensive line still wasn't good then.
Nope.
His receivers weren't that great. He had Marshawn Lynch, and they had a really damn good defense. Just imagine what you do if you give him a little bit of help. You go back to the Super Bowl. They still win games with him being legit the only thing they have. DK Metcalf, that's fine. But
Chris Carson's okay. I would say above average.
that's fair.
But yeah, no, I agree. Like, and especially when they won the Super Bowl, wasn't he like a second year, third year guy? Like, it's not like he was balling out like he does now, or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know,
no,
I wouldn't. I would argue that he wasn't in his prime yet. Is what I'm trying to say. I guess.
Mhm.
I have a lot of respect for Pete Carroll, but now that I'm thinking about it, he might be a pretty shitty coach.
I don't know if it's his fault as much as it is the GM.
Yeah, that's fair too. But man, yeah, you got to do something for a generational quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they should have won back to back. There's no doubt about it. They should.
Oh man, I was
Give
watching
the ball
that.
to Marshawn
the
Lynch.
ball off.
Oh god.
I'm not even a Seattle fan. I felt so bad for them because everybody hates the Patriots. If you're not a Patriots bootlicker, you hate the Patriots, right? So everybody in that game, and right then after that insane catch that they made to get on like the 4-yard line or whatever it was,
Yeah.
everybody in their right mind is thinking, "Oh, Marshawn Lynch is gonna get this thing and he's gonna be eating Skittles in the end zone." No, dumbasses threw the ball. Should have never thrown that ball.
Got picked off by a rookie Malcolm Butler, I believe.
Malcolm Butler's still making money off fucking teams because of that play.
Right?
In the last 2 days.
I remember watching that with Kyle at his house, and we were like sitting there watching it, and we are like, all right, man, Seattle's about to win this. Like, Marshawn's about to run it. And then they called it, picked it off, and like we both just sit there and looked at the TV for a second, and Kyle just goes, he was like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah, what the fuck?
I was pissed. I was blown out of my mind. I was fucked up. And when Malcolm Butler caught that ball, I legit thought that was like a commercial. I didn't think that actually just happened. I'm serious.
Man, he couldn't have timed that any better either.
And no, it was a great play on Malcolm.
Man.
Like you said, though, he's still getting money from teams off that play, pretty much.
Yep.
All right, so we got Carson Wentz rejoining with Frank Reich. I almost said White. Frank Wright in Indianapolis. How do you think he does? Obviously, I would say he was rough year to trash can last year, but I think it could be a bounce back year.
I think he's average.
He's in the rough year going towards average with a better situation, I think, in Indianapolis.
I mean, they have a great line.
Yeah,
even without Eric Flowers, they have a really good offensive line. Weapon wise, they got an older T.Y. Hilton. That's basically it. But I mean,
Jonathan Taylor, running back.
Yeah, they do have Jonathan Taylor, Naheem Hines, and Marlon Mack. I mean, he's got a great running back trio.
This is gonna bother you, Justin, but I think Wentz is just as good physically as Philip Rivers is, if not better. And he's going to go back and play with Frank Reich, who was people forget the offensive coordinator in Philadelphia when they won the Super Bowl, and he was going to win MVP until he got hurt in like week 15 or whatever. Yeah. He was going to win MVP. His stats were much that year. I just think going back with Frank Reich, I don't think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback. I don't think he's going to be MVP level, but I think there's a better chance that he's at least average than he is bad.
I really like Carson Wentz too. So I'm hoping that he is top 10.
I don't really like him.
Really?
I could less what he does. I mean, yeah, no, screw him. I don't really give a damn. He's a Colt now. He can kiss my ass. But I think
that's true too. Yeah.
I think he's going to be a lot better this year than he was last year. I think Philadelphia was a complete shit can and a dumpster fire last year. I don't think anybody knew what was going on. The owner wanted Hurts. The coaching staff didn't want Hurts. They drafted Hurts. And then the coaching staff had to put him in there because the owners wanted to do it. The whole thing was screwed up. Wentz got screwed out of his job. Wentz I don't think he's that much worse than Hurts, but I think he can be a lot better in Indianapolis. Change of scenery. Frank Reich with Jacoby Brissett is a good football team. Frank Reich with Carson Wentz, man, I think they can be good. I really do. That's not a bad football team.
So I just realized I'm missing someone here, and he's probably he's definitely gonna be in the MVP level category. That's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I was wondering when he was going to show up.
So we got 2 Mac Jones here. We'll use the white one as Patrick Mahomes because I can't add anyone at this
Why's
point.
he got to be white?
Oh.
No. Get can't you get like some kind of like
I can't add anything at this point.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't really know. I've never really used this before, but except for like I've never made my own. I've used this website before, but yeah. So
that's what I was wondering if he's gonna show up.
I remember downloading his picture. I don't know what the fuck happened between that and this, but yeah, no Patrick Mahomes. So we're gonna use this white one, Mac Jones.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so you mentioned him earlier, Josh Allen,
MVP.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you think? What do you think, Lee?
Oh, he's skeptical. He's skeptical.
Because you already know I put Dak in the MVP, but I think he's
fair.
top 10.
Hey, that's fair. I think Dak has more weapons, so it helps him put up better numbers. But I think if I had to choose between the two, I'd rather have Josh Allen. But right. I like his arm though.
I would rather have Josh Allen too. Yeah, I mean I like Dak, but yeah, I agree. I think I'd rather have Josh Allen because you still have the mobility. I would say he's as mobile, if not more, than Dak, but he's got a better arm.
Yeah,
I think he's definitely top 5. I mean, you can even go that far.
I think we put him at MVP level right now, and then we'll see. Because in my head, because obviously we can't have more than 10 in the top 2 tiers. So I think it's going to come down to some legit, like, okay, this guy's got to be moved down. This guy's, that kind of stuff. So this is Justin Fields, Chicago Bears, Week 1. I guess he doesn't play, right? Because we've got Andy Dalton.
Yeah, I don't think he plays Week 1 unless Andy Dalton gets concussed, which is about a 75% chance.
Just for shits and giggles, though, I think he's probably rough.
Oh, he's rough years. They ain't got no weapons. No weapons.
All right. I was going to say, just so we're clear, we're not saying that Justin Fields sucks, but if he does start, I think he's rough year.
Hey, go ahead and put Deshaun Watson back in the won't play.
What did I do with him?
He's down there in the bottom.
Oh, you're right.
I don't know how he crept back down. I just wanted to put him back up there. It's getting on my nerves.
Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, I'm saying I think he's the top of average. I don't think he's top 10. I think he's the top of average.
Yeah. And we're going to know it this year because he's finally got all the weapons around him. If that dude balls out, he's definitely top 10. And, I mean, he's like, if you're into gambling and you got like 1 into 250 odds or whatever, put a couple bucks on him to win MVP, you could do that because I think there's a small possibility. But I want to see what he can do now that he's got A.J. Green and DeAndre Hopkins for a full off season and Christian Kirk and all these other guys that can help him win better defense. I want to see what he does with better weapons, but I'm not willing to put him in the top 10 just yet. I want to see more out of him. His stats are probably going to be top 10, but I want to see him win football games because he's a good quarterback.
I think that he was like a dark horse for MVP last year, like midway through the season. He was putting up some pretty good numbers. Mm-hmm. But it's like he just couldn't sustain it for a whole season. So it's like,
and they're still having trouble winning football games. They play in a really hard division. So
yeah, that doesn't help.
Yeah, but they're having trouble winning football games because I mean it's not. I don't want to say it's his fault, but it's not really helping that he makes some mistakes and sometimes they go 3 and out in like 5 seconds because of Kingsbury's offense. But I mean, either way, I want to see more out of him before he's technically top 10 to me.
And he also can't see over his offensive lineman.
That's what I was going to say.
I don't care. I don't care.
Quickest feet in the NFL.
Oh my god, dude! When he takes off, it's like no one can touch him. Like he is so quick sometimes, and he's so smooth too. It's like he makes these cuts that like you're just like, how is this physically possible for someone? But it's because his legs are closer to the ground than everyone else's. All right, Danny Dimes. I would say last year he was rough year, right? Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
so.
He's average, I think. I mean, he's not a bad quarterback. He really ain't.
He's
What
not.
all did
He's
they
got a-
add? Holiday?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Galladay and
Yeah.
dude out of Florida,
Oh,
Tony.
Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney. Yeah, that was the best draft day trade right there. They got the Bears pick next year, and they still
Yeah.
able to get Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, that was a really good
And
trade.
their offensive line is a little bit better than it was a few years ago. I could definitely go back end average or top end rough year. Y'all make the decision
Ooh.
on that because I'm stuck between the two.
Yeah, I kind of am too.
Because
All right,
I think he's
Lee-
on the low end of average.
All right.
He's definitely, to me, he's better than Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to have a better season than like Jared Goff, but like I don't think he's going to be nearly as good as Joe Burrow or I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
Kyler Murray, Ben Roethlisberger, Joe Burrow to me are like way the fuck up here in that tier. Whereas
There's almost a
Daniel
different
Jones
tier.
is
Yeah.
like, yeah.
I agree. All right, so this is Davis Mills. I think we're saying he doesn't play. We're saying Tyrod Taylor starts.
Yeah,
Hey, that's y'all. If y'all think Tyrod Taylor starts, that's fine. I think they throw Davis Mills in the wolves, but it's the damn Texans, so who cares? They're going to be shit anyway.
Yeah, that's true. They are a dumpster fire right now. Maybe they do just throw Davis Mills out there and say, "Hey, fuck it, go for it." Nah, yeah, I think I don't know. I think they play it safe. Throw Tyrod out there.
As long as they keep the team trainer away from Tyrod Taylor, then I think they'll be all
right, listen, guys, that was one time. We don't have to bring it up anymore. That was so embarrassing as a Chargers fan. I mean, I love it because Justin Herbert got to play and he balled out, but I feel bad for Tyrod. I always liked Tyrod, even when he was like back at the fucking Bills.
Oh, I like Tyrod too. I think he plays a lot of heart. I think he's a good football player.
He does.
Tom Brady. He's got to be at least top 10, right?
He's top 10, but only because of the people around him. Physically, he's an average quarterback, but he's top 10 because of the people around him and because of his experience. What he's got up here is multitudes better than anybody else on this list, and probably a bunch of them thrown together.
Yeah, I agree.
Physically, he's not 28 years old anymore, and that's okay because he makes up for it mentally, and he just won a Super Bowl again. Now, he's got maybe the best supporting cast in football. I think the Buccaneers have one of, if not the best roster in football. But it definitely doesn't hurt to have a guy that's got, like, 14, 15 Super Bowl rings now. So fucking go away, you old fuck.
Yeah. What was it that Giselle came out and was like, I asked him what, what he's even playing for anymore. Like, what more does he have to prove? And it's like, it came out, he's like, oh, I haven't gone perfect yet. Like, it's like every year he just finds something new that's like, I haven't done this yet,
Yeah. And
it's insane.
He's the ultimate troll too. I don't know if any of you guys follow him on Twitter.
Oh
but
my
he's
god.
supposed to go do like a golf match.
Yeah, the match, yeah.
Oh my god, that dude, he is burning people. Like, he's talking shit. He's like, he's burning Aaron Rodgers. He's just being funny. But he's the ultimate baller. He talks a lot of shit. He's definitely one of those dudes you want on your football team. It don't really matter what he can do anymore. He's going to help you win football games, and that's why he's at least top 10. But he's not going to put up MVP level numbers because they're going to turn around and hand the ball off to Rojo and Fournette a bunch.
I mean, Tampa Bay Tom is clearly different than New England Tom, and
He's on the beach.
I am all about Tampa Tom. Tampa Tom might be one of my favorite players, honestly.
Hey, Tampa Tom's cool. New England Tom sucks because he's with New England. The Patriots organization, Patriots fans, they're all assholes.
Yeah, speaking of that, there's a bunch of New Englanders down here in the Tampa Bay area because retirees and stuff. So there's a lot of Patriots fans. So this year, I was around them, obviously, because I'm in the service industry. I was around them when they started, when Tampa Bay started playing, like the beginning of the year. Oh my God, they were fucking trash talking the TV. Tom Brady. Oh, what's wrong, Tom? You can't throw a pass. Talking so much shit. At the End of the year. Oh, Tom's the best. Tom's number one. Fucking.
And they talk about the players for the Patriots organization too. Apparently, all they did last year was talk about Tom. Like
Oh,
in
really?
the locker room, they talked about him constantly, and that was the last report I read. They missed Tom. Nothing against Cam Newton. They like Cam Newton, but you see the difference between Cam Newton, who didn't help the Patriots get to the playoffs, and Tom Brady, who won another Super Bowl.
Another Super Bowl.
Another.
Any chance that he runs out of fingers? He goes 11.
There's no way. There's no way.
Oh.
It's not. He can't play that long.
I think everyone else would just quit football if he won 11 Super Bowls. There would be.
What?
I don't think he goes to the Super Bowl this year.
I said that
Tom
last
Brady.
year, honestly. So I don't know if I'm willing to doubt Tom Brady anymore. I'm just gonna assume he's just gonna go to the Super Bowl every year, and
I think the Rams beat him.
Right.
that would be fun. A brand, but I want the Packers. I want Aaron to fucking just come back and win a Super Bowl and just fucking.
Aaron's not the reason why they won't though.
No, I understand that. Yeah, no. If the Rams, I'd like to see Matty Stafford win a Super Bowl. That'd be fun.
I like McVay. I like Sean McVay. I like the weapons they got. I like Cam Akers. That defense was one of the best defenses in football last year.
Aaron Donald is one of my favorite
the best
players.
defensive player on the planet right now, alive.
Oh my god, he's so insane. Defensive tackle, defensive end, wherever you want to. I think he just lines up wherever the fuck he wants to.
It don't
But-
matter. He gets the shit done. You
But-
can call him whatever you want. He gets the shit done.
Put him at safety, just see what happens.
Yeah, he'll kill him. Probably.
Matt Ryan, where are we putting Matty? He's got no Julio, assuming no Julio. Well, they have to have no Julio. They don't have the cap room. Rough.
He's an average quarterback that's gonna have a rough year.
Absolutely. He is an average quarterback he might even be a top 10 quarterback that's going to have a rough year. Because they're losing Julio. I like Calvin Ridley, but the offensive line still isn't all that great. The defense lost Keanu Neal. The defense ain't going to be good. They're going to rely on Matt Ryan. If they even try to put up points, he might get killed. I don't know who their running back is. Ty Gurley's gone.
He's gone?
Right.
Where did he go?
They didn't sign him back.
Oh, I thought he was still there.
I don't think so. I may be wrong.
Was he like 38 now, Matt Ryan?
He's old.
I think he's been 38 since he entered the league. Like he is the oldest. He is the oldest quarterback that is not very old. Like, it's like I felt like he was in college forever too. Like he's like one of those players. You're just like he didn't graduate yet. Like
and I mean you could legitimately put Matt Ryan in the average if it was just him, level playing field, but it's not. It's not a level playing field. It never will be. Matt Ryan is going to have a tough year this year.
I mean, he does have I believe in Arthur Smith though. I think he does have a good coach. So,
I think Arthur Smith's overrated.
That's coming from a Titans fan too. Yeah. Derek Carr. Average.
He's average.
I would say
low end average too. I don't think he's that good.
Okay. All right.
I don't even think he's the best quarterback on their roster.
Oh, you think Mariota's better?
We're not going to have this conversation because I'm going to get roasted in the comments.
So at the end of this, I'm thinking we like actually put them in positions and like, you know, this guy's better than this guy's better than this guy kind of situation. So I'm interested to see where Derek Carr ends up. Mac Jones for real. Won't play week 1.
Do they start?
I don't think he plays.
We have him starting Cam.
Yeah, he don't play then.
All right, I just want to make sure that
Even though I heard a lot of buzz about Mac Jones, they said he's got a lot of swagger and that he's
Johnny
Mac
Manziel
Jones.
had a lot of swagger.
Impressing
Mac
the
Jones
teammates
don't
and
suck.
Oh.
I'm just.
He was wearing number 50 too. Like who wears 50 as a quarterback?
Oh, okay. Well, that's a Bill Belichick thing. He makes the number one their number 1 round pick. He makes them wear 50 every year until they earn their number.
Yeah.
Some kind of weird deal.
I don't like shit like that. I mean, I think it works maybe in college, but I don't like shit like that in like the NFL. Like
No, I mean you let the players kind of haze the rookies, but being a coach, I mean, you got to treat these dudes with a little bit more respect. And I mean, Bill's got Super Bowl rings, so I don't know. Maybe he's
That's
doing
fair,
it
yeah.
right, so whatever.
Well, to me, it reminds me of when like Hugh Jackson on Hard Knocks took the stripe off the Browns helmet and told them they had to earn their stripe. Basically, like that only cares about the fucking stripe on a helmet. Like,
Yeah.
You
You wonder why the Browns were so damn bad.
Yeah, that's probably why. He also got fired that year. All right, so this is Patty Mahomes as Mac Jones.
I wish we
Obviously,
could edit it.
yeah, me too. I don't see a way to, unfortunately.
That's definitely number one MVP, top tier D guy, ahead of everybody.
I agree. I don't know if there's really much argument that we can have with that, other than the fact that maybe he didn't win last year. What's that look for, Casey?
I'm trying. Garoppolo, is that the next dude?
Yeah, that's Garoppolo. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but we have him as playing because we have Trey Lance is not playing.
Yeah, he's trash can.
Oh man,
You
no
know-
love for Jimmy G.
He's fucking
No,
sucks.
no.
They wouldn't have drafted another quarterback in the first round if he didn't suck.
You think trash can Lee?
Yeah.
All right.
If he's not trash can, it's because of his coaching staff and support. You
I do
got to
like
chill
Kyle
out with
Shanahan.
this Herbert bullshit, Justin. You got to chill out. Listen, if the top two categories were top 11, you could put Justin Herbert there. In fact, you can put Justin Herbert there, and we can move somebody down. But if it ain't Baker Mayfield, I don't know who it is. Because it ain't Ryan Tannehill, and by God, I will scream at this phone.
all right. I'm putting him at top 10.
I think he is.
I'm putting him at top 10. If we have to move him down, we'll move him down. But I think that that's okay. So we won't touch any of the won't play guys because I think that's they're not going to play. So there's no sense ranking them. But starting with Patrick Mahomes, number 1 quarterback in the NFL. Yes.
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 All right. Aaron Rodgers, number 2.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Lamar Jackson. This is where I think we have our first one. Lamar Jackson, or you think Josh and then Lamar?
Switch. Yes.
You think Josh Allen's number 3 quarterback in the NFL?
I think Josh Allen nuts. I think that dude's crazy.
Oh,
and part of the
man.
reason why I think it, here's why. Because I said when he was a junior in Wyoming or senior or whatever, when he was there, I said, this dude is going to break the NFL. And I had, there's another member of this panel, of this podcast that's not here tonight, but he gave me shit for a long time saying that Josh Allen ain't going to be shit. And then once Josh Allen finally blew up, the look in his eyes when he had to apologize because he knew he was wrong. I will never forget that. I've been behind Josh Allen the entire time. I think he's one of the baddest motherfuckers alive, and I'd love to have him on my team. I think he is the 3rd best quarterback in the NFL.
Honestly,
And y'all don't have to agree with me. You could put him trash can. I don't care. I still got his back. I still like him. If Lamar could throw a little bit better and had better receiving options, he'd be ahead.
I think. Yeah. All right.
I'm putting Prescott 3 just because of his weapons. I'm telling you, man.
And okay, now that we've only got 4 in MVP level, you can move Dak up, and I'm okay with that.
All right. So wait, what are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so we got 11 in the top 10. So someone's getting moved down for sure.
I think you should make the category top 11, or Baker Mayfield goes down.
I'm okay with putting Dak up here. Okay, I'm okay with that. But I see the argument why you would put Russell Wilson up here though instead.
Right.
But I don't think he's gonna have an MVP level year though.
And if they get Julio Jones, which I seen they was talking to Seattle, maybe that could be a game changer.
He can't block.
Yeah, I mean, true, but
All right.
You need people to block. Damn.
All right, so right now we got Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson. I can live with this top 5.
Russell Wilson's top of the top 10.
Like this way?
The best. He's the best left.
Of the okay. All right. Lee, you froze there for a minute. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So right now we got Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, number 4, Lamar Jackson, number 5, Russell Wilson. I think Baker goes back here for right now. I'd probably go Ryan Tannehill.
And for those of you that may have just tuned in, we're using a picture of Mac Jones as Patrick Mahomes because we had 2 Mac Jones and no Patrick.
Yeah, so if you're curious as why we're so high on Mac Jones, that's why.
Because we're not. I'm not.
No, it's actually Patrick Mahomes because whoever made this is a fucking idiot.
I put Tom ahead of Matthew Stafford. I put Justin Herbert ahead of Matthew Stafford.
I put Justin Herbert ahead of Tom Brady.
Oh, I don't know if I can get behind that one.
Only because of team success. He's physically right now a better quarterback, but I don't know about team success.
All right, so that would be our top 10: Patrick, Aaron, Josh, Dak, Lamar, Russell, Ryan, Tom Brady, Justin Herbert, Matt Stafford. That's our top 10. I can live with that.
Yeah, I think so.
I'll die on that hill. All right, so now we're at the average. Baker's the first number 11, you think?
I think Kyler Murray better, but Baker Mayfield's got a better team.
Yeah, I think so too. So I would probably I think you got to put Zach back a little bit. No, I didn't mean to do that.
No, that's but Daniel Jones should be at the end.
The very end, you think?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. And then Kirk Cousins or Ben Roethlisberger?
I think you should put Wentz in front of Wilson. And Cousins should be behind Burrow.
I think
and
so
Wentz. I think Cousins should be behind Wentz.
All right, so we got Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Roethlisberger, Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins, Carson Wentz, Zach Wilson, Derek Carr, Danny Dimes. I'm okay with that.
I would switch Carr and Wilson, and I would switch Wentz and Cousins. But that's just me. Y'all don't have to do that.
So this is predictions of next year too. So I'd say I think Wentz can do better than Cousins.
If Wentz,
I don't know. I think Joe Burrow can do better than Ben Roethlisberger.
If he stays healthy, it's the offensive line, dude. I
mean,
and plus, Ben has done this shit for a long time. Again, it's like the race. I don't like the Steelers. I hate the Steelers. I do not like Ben Roethlisberger. But that dude shows up every year and he continues to win football games, and don't matter who you put around him.
He's definitely a Hall of Famer, in my opinion.
Yeah, he is. He really is.
He's a first ballot, I think, for sure. I mean, 2 Super Bowls?
Yep. At least, yeah, I think so too, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 2. Yeah. I mean, I can't argue with that. Yeah, that's incredible. All right, so we're saying Baker's going to do better than Kyler. Kyler's going to do better than Ben. Ben's going to do better than Burrow. So on and so forth. Carson, Kirk, Derek Carr, Zach Wilson, Danny Dimes. I can kind of get behind that. I'm skeptical on Zach Wilson, but I can live with it.
I'm getting skeptical on Daniel Jones right there and Matt Ryan right there on the next one. Which, I don't know, man.
Matt Ryan's a better quarterback than Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones has much more help than Matt Ryan, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not necessarily who's the better quarterback, because then I think you have Russell Wilson up in the top 5 easily. It's who's going to have a better year. I don't know. I kind of agree with Lee, though. I think we go boom, boom.
I think you have to put Ryan ahead of Wilson and Carr.
I don't know if he has a better year than Derek Carr, though.
And I don't have any faith in Derek Carr.
He's good for 400, 2 or 3 games out of the season, and then you don't know what you're gonna get. A typical John Gruden quarterback.
Lee, what do you think? Is Carr better? Is Carr gonna have a better year than Matt Ryan, or is Matt Ryan gonna have a better year than Carr?
I think Derek Carr's gonna have a little better year than Matt Ryan.
All right, I think so too. All right, so let's move down to rough year.
Y'all better put Sam Darnold at the head of this line. I'm telling you.
I can live with that.
I'm on the Sam Darnold train, and I don't care if I'm the only one. Choo choo, damn it! He's gonna be insane. I'm just telling you.
All right, so Sam Darnold. I don't know. I could probably argue Sam Darnold's gonna have a better year than Zach Wilson.
Don't say that. Jets fans be mad in hell.
But I legitimately think that, though. I think
if you look at the experience around Sam Darnold, it's Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore,
Robbie Anderson still, right? I mean, he's a good wide receiver.
Who used to play
Casey's for the Jets just also. Nodding his head.
He used to play for the Jets also. Him and Darnold have some chemistry from the New York Jets.
I'm telling you, if it's up to me, I mean, I'm still moving this dude up tiers. I'm telling you, I think he finishes his top 10. But that's just me.
All right, so I think Sam Darnold has a better year than Zach Wilson. So Darnold goes up to average. Or do you guys want to move Zach Wilson down to rough year? I don't know. I think he's going to ball out.
I don't know if he's going to ball, but he's going to be a lot better. He's in a lot better situation than some of these dudes right underneath.
Yeah.
I'm cool with this.
Okay. All right, so then we got Danny Dimes, Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff. Almost said Josh Gordon. You think switch these two?
Yep.
All right.
I think Fitzpatrick may be at the start of that.
This way or this way?
The other way, yeah.
Okay. Jameis is probably behind Trevor, right?
Man, I don't know. I think Sean Payton's really good. And they got good supporting cast. Jameis Winston scares the shit out of me. But I mean, he's
good.
I think Jameis Winston's going to have a better year than Jalen Hurts offensively.
All right.
I think he's going to be better than Jared Goff.
All right. Keep eating the dubs, Jameis. Keep eating the dubs. You're going to be MVP level.
No, he's not. He's going to throw. He's going to throw 40 touchdowns and 35 interceptions.
I don't know if he's. I really think that Daniel Jones is probably going to end up closer to here, but for this sake, I think that he's probably here.
Right, and he's got Barkley coming back.
Oh, he does have Barkley coming back.
You could put him up there and it wouldn't bother me.
Yeah, I think he belongs up here in average. I don't know if we can necessarily say that he's going to have a rough year, because if last year was a rough year for him, I think that this year is going to be a better year, which would mean that it would be closer to average.
He had a lot of fumbles.
Yeah, he did have a lot of fumbles, and he tripped himself on that wide open touchdown run. All right, so we got Jameis, Goff, Jalen Hurts, Tua, Trevor Lawrence. We lost Lee for a second, and then Ryan Fitzpatrick.
The internet went out of something.
Yeah, we lost him for a second.
Nah, screw it. He'll be back.
I'm okay with this row.
Yeah, me too.
I mean,
scares me.
I was gonna say I might even put Trevor above Tua.
Man, I don't know if I wouldn't put Fitzpatrick above Tua.
He does have Scary Terry.
He's
got a defensive line. He's got a pretty good offensive line. Not horrible.
He's going to lose you some games, but he's also going to win you some games. Whereas I don't know if Tua can win games yet.
Yeah, me neither. All right, I'm willing to do that. All right, so now we got the trash can level. So we got Tyrod Taylor, Cam Newton, Drew
Put
Lock.
Garoppolo at the front of this list. He's the best quarterback there. And then
Yeah.
Nugent would be right behind him.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree. Probably Andy Dalton.
I'd
After
go
that?
Luck and then Dalton. And then
And
I
then
would have Taysom Hill at the end because he's not really the quarterback.
yeah, he's just probably going to be in games. Yeah, he will play. Yeah, okay. I can get behind this ranking.
And I think Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock are interchangeable.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think if you put them, yeah, if you did this, like basically switch them, I would be okay with that too. I just think that I don't know. Honestly, I don't know which one of them starts. I could see
I don't
him.
think it matters.
I don't think it matters either. I mean, when you're in a division with, a god like Justin Herbert and a decent quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, it's. Oh man, yeah, this looks good to me.
Other than Mac Jones being the best quarterback in the league.
What do you mean? He's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be the best rookie year ever. Belichick's his coach. Gonna throw for 60 touchdowns and 0 interceptions and 7,000 yards. Might not even drop a pass.
You've lost your mind. I personally think that I just don't think Mac Jones is it. I don't think he's the dude.
I don't either. No, I'm just being facetious.
I think he's ever going to be the dude.
I think that he could be I think that his career will perpetually have him here. Like a really good year. I think at his best, he's Matt Ryan. I think at his most likely, he's going to be closer to probably Jared Goff.
Man, to me, he's AJ McCarron.
I mean, he could be career backup, fringe starter maybe at best.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to read rookies though. I mean, he could come in and fucking be amazing.
He could, but I don't think so.
Well, I was waiting for Lee to come back to see what he thought, but I think we've lost him.
He texted me. He said what happened, and I said you dropped.
Yeah, Lee, I don't know if you can hear us, but if you can, I'd probably leave the chat and then come back.
Dude, we're about done, ain't we?
Yeah. I don't know if you want to talk some MLB.
We can. I'm down.
I've been watching a lot of the West Coast games lately. A lot of Giants games.
I only keep up with the Braves games. I keep up with the stats of other teams, but if I watch anything, it's a Braves game.
Yeah, I've been trying to watch more Braves games. I'd say like the past week. I watched last night's game, right? Last night's game against the Mets. We got our ass kicked. The Braves are one of those teams where it's like we could always win a World Series, but it always seems like we get stopped in the second round of the playoffs. Maybe we get to the championship.
Atlanta teams and the playoffs are not good friends. But you just had Huascar Ynoa, who had a great start to the season on the mound, punched something, broke his hand. He's out for a couple months. Mike Soroka tore his Achilles last year, and here's Lee.
I still can't see him.
He texts me. But Huascar Ynoa broke his hand. Mike Soroka's still out from last year. Max Fried was hurt at the beginning of the year, but he's come back. He's pitched kind of well lately. Marcell Ozuna just broke his hand and then punched his wife, so he's out. I mean, he's just done. Marcell Ozuna. I'm serious. I don't think he ever plays a game ever again. I don't think he gets back in the MLB.
He probably
won't. Ronald Acuna
just
gets
the way
hurt.
you said that was funny though.
Yeah, but I mean, you got a lot of guys that, they're injury prone. A lot of guys are hurt. Freddie's got to get paid at the end, and Freddie Freeman's got to get paid at the end of this year.
I think we definitely lose him.
Man, that's gonna suck too.
I like Freddie Freeman.
I love Freddie. He's having a down year. Freddie.
Freaking Dansby Swanson, man. It's like when they drafted him, I thought he was going to be like the next big thing and fucking.
Well, the Diamondbacks drafted him, and then we traded. We had a guy. Yeah, we had a guy named Shelby Miller who made the All-Star game. At the All-Star break, he's pitching his ass off. And we traded Shelby Miller off to them for Dansby and I think a few other names. But Dansby is defensively a top-tier shortstop. Offensively, he's got a little bit of pop in his bat, but he's never going to be a good offensive shortstop. And it's just so hard to win in this era of baseball if you don't have somebody really, really good at every position. Because you have to face teams like the Dodgers who have $250 million payrolls and the Yankees that have huge payrolls, and they go out and get whoever they want. And they have guys that play like the Dodgers have Corey Seager, who almost single-handedly put out the Braves last year in the playoffs. And he might hit 40 bombs a season. You know, that's the difference between the teams that are winning the World Series and the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves have Dansby Swanson, who might win a Gold Glove, and he's a good guy, and he's from around the area, and everybody likes Dansby. You know, he looks good. He dates the girl from the American soccer team, and yeah, he's great. Except he can't hit. He can't hit.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird though. You see these small market teams like Tampa Bay, you know, like make it to the World Series because they get like hot bats, basically. Like it's so baseball's so weird to me.
The Rays are so different, man, because they're playing their own game. They went out. They had Randy Arozarena.
Yep.
And nobody knew who that guy was until the playoffs last year. And then they've got Wander Franco, who is the best prospect in baseball. He's going to be playing shortstop for them before too long, and that's why they were able to trade the other shortstop to Milwaukee. They had another shortstop that had just come up. Man, I just had his name on the edge of my tongue. But he's supposed to be a pretty good shortstop prospect, offensive guy, can play defense. They traded him off to Milwaukee because they're going to have Wander Franco, who is, I mean, just a stud at shortstop. Their scouting department is one of the best in baseball. Their development is great. They're able to go out and get guys. They absolutely fleeced the Pirates a few years ago. They traded them Chris Archer, who was on the down end of his career, for Austin Meadows and Tyler Glasnow, two of the bigger parts of their team. So, the Rays know how to run an organization, and they do it cheaply.
You know, and like living in the Tampa Bay area, it's like the Rays. No one goes to Rays games, but they're good. I mean, they're not bad. They have their down years because they genuinely are a younger team because they don't pay their players like Blake Snell. But it's like I don't know how people. I haven't been to the Trop yet. I want to go to a Rays game this year and go to the Trop because I hear it's awful, and maybe that's why people don't go to Rays games. But,
awful.
Oh, see, I want to go and experience how bad it is because I'm like, how do you not like the Rays? Like, I mean, we're going to World Series. It's not like the first time we went either. They went back in 2006 when they had Evan Longoria and a few other guys I'm blanking on right now, but.
I think, it comes down to a lack of rapport between the ownership and the city. The city's not willing to put in the money to help them build, and of course that would make taxes go up and stuff like that. But the city's not willing to put in the money to help build a full or a new stadium, and the ownership just quite frankly can't afford it. Because if they could afford a new stadium, they could afford to keep some of these young guys that come up and are ballers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they are a small market team. They do it to the best of their ability. They're a lot like the Athletics. They go out and they just find really good talent, and they keep it as much as they can, and they use it to the best of their ability, but they don't have a lot of money. They just don't. And, I kind of feel bad for the fans of the Rays down there because I ain't got nothing against the Rays. I love how they run their organization. I really like some of the players that I've seen play there, over the last 20 years that I've been really keeping up with baseball, and I feel bad. I feel bad for them, really. I mean, the fans especially, and the players. I mean, the players they probably don't want to leave Tampa Bay, but I mean, one of the higher ups in the ownership brought up to a city council member last week that they're thinking about moving to Nashville. So, I mean, it's just
Could get
You know
behind
what?
that.
Yeah. I mean, I love the idea of a Major League Baseball team being in Nashville. I'm always going to be a Braves fan, but if the Rays are in the other conference, I said conference, if they're in the other league, then I mean they're not really going to compete with each other unless they're both in a World Series. And then at that point, it's like, hell yeah, bring it on.
Yeah, it's
I get to
best
see
of
a
both
World
worlds.
Series game 40 miles down the road. I'll go to Nashville for that, you know. But I would legitimately try to get a job there. I'd love to work with those guys. I would love to be a part of that organization. I love baseball in general. I think that would be really neat for Nashville. Because I mean the Sounds games are packed. Now, of course, they're cheap, you know, and I don't know what prices would be, but I think Major League Baseball in Nashville would be a great idea, especially a top tier ran organization from the baseball standpoint that the Rays are, because they are consistently either rebuilding to kick your ass or they are kicking your ass. It's a really good, really well ran. They're ahead of the curve. And man, they got exciting ball players. I love watching the Rose Arena. I can't wait to see Wander Franco. You know that the pitchers, dude, they show up with pitchers every year. You know,
I know, right?
Man, I like them. I really do, and I'd love to see them in Nashville.
As someone who's just getting like really into baseball, like I mean I've played some baseball games in the past, but I would say really this year is the first year I've even watched baseball games since I was a kid watching the Braves. Do you think that baseball is past its glory years, or do you think that it's coming back? Like, where do you think baseball is right now?
It's definitely past its glory days. You're just never going to have baseball in the 50s was so different. You had guys like Brooks Robinson, third baseman for the Orioles, that he won like 17 Gold Gloves. And you know, he like I don't even know if they had Gold Gloves back then, but he consistently was the best defensive third baseman in baseball. You had guys that stole bases. They got on base. They played small ball, which made every single pitch important. Nowadays, baseball is it's a three outcome game. It's either a walk, a home run, or a strikeout, and that all goes back to the shift. If teams weren't right now, teams are shifting. And what they're doing is, for those of you that may not know, the shift is just where they move their players, the fielders, around to make it harder to get a ball down on the ground in a hole somewhere, you know, so you can get on base.
If you know a guy's going to pull the ball, you go over to his pull side. Yeah, if you know he pushes the ball, you go to the other side.
It makes plenty of sense, but what that does is it turns guys that would usually hit maybe, let's say, 280 with 15 home runs, it turns those guys into somebody swinging for the fence, because if they're going to hit 245 with 15 home runs, they're out of a job. So they ought to go up there and try and hit 230 with 30 home runs, because that's more valuable. And the numbers come out and they tell you that. The analytics tell you that if 90% of the balls that you hit on the ground are going to be outs, you might as well try and get your bat underneath it to hit it out, over the fence, because it's just more valuable over a course amount of time. And as a fan, that's boring to watch. Now, even if I mean, the home runs are cool, chicks dig the long ball, we all get that. But even if they made the shift illegal and made defenders or fielders stand in one spot the entire time, this game has changed so much, and pitchers throw so hard now.
Oh my God!
You're never. I mean, like Tony Gwynn struck out 434 times in a career. The Major League Baseball struck out 528 times last weekend.
That's insane. I've never heard that stat.
Yeah, I just came up with it, but the numbers are right. I promise. I looked them up. I actually, it was for a friend of mine made a Facebook post talking about Tony Gwynn, and I actually looked up all the numbers. And it's insane, because people like Tony Gwynn, they're just no longer around. You're not going to have anybody hit 370. That's never going to happen again. I don't think anybody's ever going to hit 400, much less 370. 350 may be the new 400 for a batting average. It may legitimately be, because the best in the world might hit 330. We had a few hit 330 last year, and that was in a shortened season. Now, I think if you've got over the course of a full 162 game season, I think to hit 350 is almost it's going to be like hitting 400. I don't think anybody's ever going to hit 400 again, because a lot more guys throw 100 miles an hour. Everybody's got a wicked slider. People understand spin rates. Pitchers are figuring out new ways to put pine tar in their gloves so they get more grip on the ball. Even if you take away all the things that make it easier for pitchers, they're still going to throw 100 miles an hour. And hitting a baseball is still the hardest thing to do in any sport in the world, in my opinion. And if you throw something 100 miles an hour and you can throw something that moves off of that and it's 80 miles an hour and they look exactly the same halfway to you from 60 foot away, you're just not going to be good at it. And that's why the best in the world hit it 3 out of 10 times, they get put in the Hall of Fame.
And I was watching the Giants and the Dodgers earlier, and man, I'm blanking on his name now. Gausman for the Giants.
Yeah, Kevin Gausman, he's got a nasty splitter.
Yes, his splitter, dude. Oh my god, dude, that thing. Like, I was sitting there watching it, and I'm like, is this guy even like? How is this guy not a household name? Because of how, but it's because everyone is so good at pitching. It seems like nowadays. It seems like like you said, you're either gonna get a strikeout or you're gonna get a home run. It's very. I mean, not that I've been, like I said, I've been watching baseball for. I've watched like 3 or 4 whole games this past week just because I like putting it on, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's insane to me, honestly.
Well, Kevin Gausman, I think he started out his career somewhere else, but then he wound up with Baltimore. He may have started at Baltimore, but when he was in Baltimore, that's when he started to get some starts, and he wasn't too bad. He had like 4.5 ERA, and the Braves traded for him. And when we brought him in, we knew he had a nice splitter. He had a good split fastball. And the Braves knew he had a good split fastball, and we used him a little bit, and he had some good games, not so good, and his mechanics weren't all that great. And then San Francisco signed him to a deal, and whatever their pitching coach has done, it has worked. And different coaches work well with different people. I mean, it's all about timing and getting the right kind of mix. And I'm happy for him. I'm glad he's doing really well. I think he might get to the All-Star game. He's pitched really well. But that split finger fastball that he throws, he's always had that, and it's nasty. But now what he's doing is he's using the really, like, it's mid-90s fastball, but he's locating it better. He's getting it elevated, which if a ball's closer to your face, it just looks bigger, so it looks like it's easier to hit. So that's why people throw the higher fastballs, because it looks like you can hit it. And when you go to swing, you miss because it's past you before you even know.
Because it's going 98 miles an hour.
Yeah, and I mean, Gausman throws like 95, 96, but guess what? That's still 95 fucking miles an hour, and it's past you before you know what you're doing. And Gausman, like I said, the pitching coach, I don't know who it is out there in San Francisco, but he's got Kevin Gausman pitching really well. But yeah, a lot of people don't know Gausman because everybody brings up DeGrom, and yeah, DeGrom throws a 92 mile an hour slider and then throws 100. So
oh, wow.
But there are a lot of people. I mean, there's just so many names out there that can throw that hard, and they're starting to locate pitches, and baseball's never going to be able to get back to like it was in the 50s because there was just so much more contact. And now the talent that's in baseball right now is as high as
yes, yeah, that's what I was going to say too, is because if you take an average baseball player nowadays, and this is the same with every sport, but if you take an average baseball player nowadays and put them back in the 50s, they dominate. They dominate because of the training, all the stuff that comes on with it. But I don't know. To me, and again, just getting into baseball is very interesting to me right now because pitching's interesting to me. I like the home runs, but pitching's I love watching pitchers because, like you said, when the pitch is halfway to home plate, I still don't know which way it's going to break, and it's going to break 16 inches one way or the other. Yeah. It's insane right now.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing too with really great baseball players is the fact that, like, right now, every team has somebody who would have been the best player in the league 70 years ago. I mean, even like the Diamondbacks, Ketel Marte. If you put him on the 1957 Yankees, they win the World Series, and he hits 350 with 40 home runs. And every team has somebody like that, and the best teams have multiple guys like that. Corey Seager in the 60s would break records. He would still own a lot of records because of how much more contact there was. Most pitchers threw 85 to 90 miles an hour. There wasn't that much break. The seams weren't as high on the baseball, so you couldn't put as much spin on it. Pitchers back then didn't know a whole lot about anything other than just, let's throw it hard and let's keep it low so it gets harder to elevate. And now it's all about elevation. Get the fastball up so you can get it past them, and it's a completely different ball game. It'll never be that interesting again because and I still love baseball, and I think it is interesting the way it is. It could be more if they took away the shift, but back in the day, what you would have is you'd have this wiry little fast guy, and he'd get up there and he'd more or less just try to slap bunt at the ball. And if he gets on first base, then you've got a contact guy up batting second. All right, you got a contact guy up that he might lay down a bunt, he might try to go the other way. So as a pitcher, you're thinking, okay, well, I'm going to try and jam this guy inside, but at the same time, you got a fast guy on first base, so he might try to steal. So I got to make sure I don't throw it in the dirt because if he runs, my catcher needs to be able to throw the ball. Well, now you start thinking about what do I need to throw? Where do I need to throw it? There's a guy on first. What's he going to do? There's a guy at the plate. Is he going to try and go the other way? Is he going to try and bunt? Is he going to take a pitch? Can I throw it out? All of this a strategy and coaches really having to manage a game. All of that's over with now.
Yeah.
We just don't have that in the game anymore because you have guys that bat leadoff like Ronald Acuna, who is in scoring position at home plate, and he might hit one 450 foot. And if he gets on base, he can steal bases.
Yeah.
But and there are a lot of guys like him. But that whole thought process of the game is really over. I mean, bunts are taken away. The analytics tell you that bunts aren't worth it. Giving up an out to move a guy 90 feet, the analytics say it's not worth it. Is it? I don't know. I don't know if it is or if it isn't, honestly, but the analytics tell us that it isn't. So people don't bunt anymore. People very rarely steal because the analytics tell you that a stolen base is pretty valuable. But if you're out, if you get thrown out, stealing that base, the value of losing that base runner is worse than the value of him getting a base. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so risk reward kind of type situation.
Exactly. And so the analytics are ruining that type of game. That, don't get me wrong, the analytics may be right, but as a fan, this game, the analytics rule now is less fun to watch. Now, if you're sitting in the third row behind the dugout, you have time to go take a piss, go get a beer, eat a hot dog, hang out with your buddies, take a selfie for Instagram, whatever. Yeah, you're there, and it's a social event. That's great. 60 years ago, if you were sitting in the stands, of course, you wouldn't have a phone anyway, but you wouldn't be spending your time talking and blah, 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 and you'd be paying attention to every single thing that happens because every single pitch really actually mattered.
Yeah.
And now it just really doesn't because a lot of pitchers, I mean, I don't know. It's such a completely different game. It will never be that interesting again. It may not even be America's pastime anymore, even though they can say that. But the game 60 years ago was a lot more fun to watch, and that's why there were more people in the stands. It was also cheaper to go to, but that's why. I mean, that's why it was so much more well liked because you had guys that not everybody was trying to hit a home run, and not everybody could get a strikeout. You had sinker ball pitchers that pitched to contact and let their defensive guys play defense. That's another thing too.
There's no defense.
No, I mean, and if there is, I mean, you very rarely get to see it. I mean, Ozzie Smith, 30, 40 years ago, I don't know, God, would it have been 40 years ago now? Ozzie Smith, shortstop for the Cardinals, one of the greatest shortstops defensively of all time. Omar Vizquel's another one, and he wasn't that long ago. But I say that, but God, it was like 20 years ago, 25 years ago. But those guys, I mean, I still remember how good Ozzie Smith and Omar Vizquel were because of their defense. They weren't bad offensively, but defensively they were so valuable that it made it worth it having them on the field, even though they didn't hit home runs. Nowadays, to win, you have to have a Corey Seager who hits 300 or 280 with 30 home runs, and the idea of having a defensive player isn't really all that important because you expect your pitcher to go up there and not really allow any contact. And if he does allow contact, it's probably a home run, but you better hope it's solo. I mean, it's a completely different game. And I don't know, like I say, I don't know if the analytics are wrong. I just know they're not nearly as fun to watch.
That's another thing that I've noticed watching these modern games too, is that you see players giving up home run. Like I remember being a kid and watching the Braves. If Greg Maddux gave up a home run, he was pulled out of the game almost immediately. Like it was like one of those situations where it seemed like if you gave up a home run, you were almost going to be replaced. Whereas now it's you gave up a 3-run home run, yeah, go pitch 5 more innings. You know, like I don't know. It's very interesting to me to watch this with such a time gap that I've watched baseball.
Well, and the game again, it was so different then. If you got a run off of Tom Glavine or Greg Maddux, it was because the first guy got up there and he probably hit one off the end of the bat, but it made it between second or short and third base, right? So you got a guy on first. Maybe you got lucky and you got a ball in the dirt and he's still second. And then at that point, you bunt him or you're hitting the ball to the right side of the infield so you can move him to third and then you get a sac fly. So if you do that, then it's like, oh, well, Greg Maddux, he gave up a run, but it wasn't like anybody really hit him hard to get that run. Back then, if they started giving up hard hits, it was like, oh, shit, this guy's out of energy or whatever. We got to pull him. But nowadays, everybody throws so hard and all the hitters have nothing but launch angle. They're hitting. And Josh Donaldson said this year.
I was going to say this. Yes, Josh Donaldson was like one of the leaders in this, apparently. That's what I've learned.
I remember watching him on MLB Tonight, and he said, I don't get paid to hit singles. If they're gonna shift me to the left where I can't get on base anyway, I'm gonna try and hit this thing up in the air and as far as I can. I get paid to hit doubles and home runs. So, again, he's not wrong, but it's boring because singles make things happen and singles get guys on base, and guys on base mean that the defense has pressure on it. Guys on base mean that the catcher has pressure, the pitcher has pressure, he has to hit his spots, and there just aren't as many guys on base anymore, and the game's just not as fun to watch. It's just not. And I don't care if the analytics are right. As a fan, I care that the game is more boring to watch. Because my Braves aren't playing. I have a hard time watching a baseball game because everybody is trying to hit the ball over the fence. Pitchers are just throwing the ball as hard as they can, have no idea where it's going. You don't see a lot of guys. You see a few, but you don't see a lot of guys that throw 88, put the ball in the corner, and are attacking contact anymore. You don't see that. You just don't.
I believe it was about 3 days ago. The Diamondbacks played the Giants. Into the bottom of the ninth. They loaded the bases by walking. He walked 3 batters in a row, and it's not in a row, but it's 2 outs, bases loaded. Ketel Marte, that's his name. He goes up, and I believe he was the last batter of that night. Strikes out. To me, it's like, I swear, I'm not lying. He was swinging for the fences every single time. To your point,
and they're probably down a run, aren't they?
They are down, a run or 2, I would say.
So all they really need to do is hit one over somebody's head, and he's scoring 2 runs. Like put one in a gap, put one down the line, and you tie the ball game. But they're trying to hit the ball over the fence because honestly, it's quite harder to hit the ball over somebody's head if they know you're trying to do that. They scoop guys around and they move guys and they put them in positions where it's hard to get that single. You're more or less forced to hit the home run because of how the shift works. Excuse me.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, and the announcer even said that they literally, from what I understand, they didn't show the shift, but what they said was they had the outfielders literally on the baselines, and then they had this giant gap in the middle because they're like, you guys can figure out how to cover this giant gap as long as he doesn't get it on the baseline, basically.
Well, if he hits one in the gap, they're scoring 2 anyway. Game's over. So why even cover the gap? Why have anybody in the gap? Because if he hits one there, it's over regardless. Put people on the baseline so if the ball gets down through there, you can get it in quicker. The shift has truly changed the way people play baseball. The Dodgers shift the most amount at 55.8%. And then the Mets are second in baseball at 55.3%. That over half the time, these teams are moving their guys around. And I'm not talking 2 steps to the left, 2 steps to the right. I'm talking 3 guys on one side of the infield.
Oh,
That
wow.
completely takes away. That's why if Freddie Freeman didn't have to hit against the shift and he was having a good year, he's a guy that could hit 350. His OPS is still over 800 and his batting average is 240 right now. Those two numbers shouldn't coexist, but they do because of how good of a hitter he is. His average is low because, yeah, he pounds the ball, but he hits the ball right at a second baseman who's halfway to the fence in right field. The shift is taken away. I mean, it's taken away so much from a lot of guys that might still be in the league. Maybe they can't. If, like Joey Gallo is a great example for me. If Joey Gallo didn't have ungodly power, if he was just a regular human being with a regular amount of power, he wouldn't be in the majors right now because his inability at that point to lift the ball up and get it out of over the fence wouldn't be worth it. He'd hit 200 because he hits everything to the right side of the infield and everybody shifts him. Even the last guy on the left side of the infield is closer to second base than he is third base. They have all 4 guys on the right side of the infield. It's not.
Why can't they just hit it to the other side of the field? I mean, I legitimately am asking that. Like, what if Joey Gallo knows that, hey, they're literally just covering this side of the field because they know I'm going to pull it? Why can't he just slap it into the other side? Like, why doesn't that happen?
Pitcher's throwing 100 miles an hour.
Well, yeah, that works.
I mean, legitimately, the last guy to hit 400 was Ted Williams, and 400 is probably the greatest reasonable bat average. It was like 404, I think. The greatest reasonable batting average that has ever, Ty Cobb hit like 416 100 years ago. Those guys still less than half the time were able to hit the ball and get on base. So you're talking about guys that even like Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn's one of the few that he could really hit the ball wherever he wanted to. But then again, how many people threw 100 miles an hour in 1993?
Yeah, like a handful.
And I'm not saying Tony Gwynn couldn't hit that, but Jacob deGrom in the 80s would have broken every single record known to man if he stayed healthy, other than Cy Young's 511 wins. That record will never be broken because he pitched every single game, and I still don't know how the dude's arm worked. But if somebody like Jacob deGrom or Noah Syndergaard or Garrett Cole or Tyler Glasnow, or there are so many names, if you took somebody from the MLB now as a pitcher and put them in a time machine 30 years ago, put them in the MLB then, we would have posters up of them as kids. And I'm talking, I mean, even an average pitcher, right? Max Fried 30 years ago would have been the greatest thing walking on the planet. And it's nowadays, Tony Gwynn was a special case because even Greg Maddux talks about how it didn't matter where you pitched him, he could hit it wherever he wanted to. That's great, Greg. You threw 88 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And Greg's one of the best pitchers of all time. And I don't mean to say anything against him like that, but I would love to see how Ty Cobb and Ted Williams and Tony Gwynn, how they would have combated people like Jacob deGrom and Garrett Cole. I would have loved to seen how that battle goes. Chipper Jones, one of the best hitters of all time, probably the best switch hitter of all time, not named Mickey Mantle, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
He had a really tough time with Randy Johnson, just like everybody else. Randy Johnson wound up with, I think, the second most strikeouts in MLB history, and he was really one of the first guys to come out of to start and play for a long time and was a starting pitcher and threw 100 miles an hour. They say Bob Feller did it a long time ago. I don't really know how hard he threw or not, but Randy Johnson throwing 100 miles an hour completely changed the game. Chipper couldn't
I remember
hit
that as a kid, yeah.
Yeah, Chipper couldn't hit him. He threw a perfect game against the Braves.
I was going to say, didn't he throw a perfect game against the Braves?
I still remember watching Eddie Perez go up there. Eddie Perez was our backup catcher, and we had to throw somebody out there to pinch hit for whoever we had as the relieving pitcher that night because it was the 27th man, so it's on the pitcher's spot. So, Eddie Perez is the best right-handed bat we got to go up against the left-handed pitcher. He had no chance in hell of hitting anything Randy Johnson threw that night. And that's one guy. We're talking about one guy that kind of throws like a lot of these guys do now.
Yeah.
And Randy Johnson basically shut down Chipper Jones. So, I mean, it would have been nice to see. I mean, as good as Tony Gwynn was, does he hit 370 in this era? Hell no, he doesn't. Does he hit 300? Absolutely. He might even hit 330. But those numbers aren't as good as they would have been if he had to face stuff that was 10 to 15 mile an hour faster with more movement. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we're going on 2 hours here, so and you're in your car, so I'll let you go. But yeah, I'm down to talk more baseball. This has actually been pretty educational because, like I said, I'm getting back into it finally after loving it as a kid.
I will say one other thing too, just real quick. A lot of this is my personal opinion. Now well, all of it's my personal opinion. But the whole thing about the shift and understanding analytics. Now, what I said about Tony Gwynn striking out 428 times or 434 times in a career, and the MLB striking out 528 times over a weekend, that's absolutely true. But a lot of this other stuff I said was my opinion. And for people that are watching this or you or whatever, I think everybody needs to go out there and do their own real research if they care enough about this situation to see what they think could fix it. I think the shift is by and large a big part of it, but baseball will never be able to return to what it was. But I think it takes a lot of research and understanding to understand why we've got to this part in the game where, I mean, yeah, it's fun to watch Ronald Acuna hit a 470-foot home run, but a part of me almost wishes that he'd get on base more and maybe – lose 5 home runs, maybe lose 10 home runs, but hit 30 points better on his batting average. But then again, he probably wouldn't be able to because if he just tried to make more contact, they'd just shift him and it'd be difficult.
So, just quickly, I guess, not to hold you up, what do you think? You said that you don't think baseball ever returns. What do you think helps fix baseball? Making the shift illegal?
I think 2 things would supremely help baseball. We've got to find a new ball. We've got to use a different ball. Whatever this ball they're using now with the pine tar that, pitchers, John Means, everybody knows John Means. He's a pitcher for Baltimore. Everybody knows he's putting pine tar in his glove.
They're a no-hitter, yeah.
Yeah, everybody knows he's putting pine tar in his glove. Pitchers are being caught every day on video with putting their finger in a certain part of the glove. We got to do something about that. Maybe find a different ball. Lower the seams, make it heavier, something. Scoot back. People have been talking about scooting back the mound.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, they talked about that on MLB Tonight, and they talked about even half a foot would give hitters a lot more time to maybe know what's coming, and maybe something like that would help. But getting rid of the shift, I think, would be a big part of it. And I don't think you have to completely get rid of the shift, but I think you have to start to put players in quadrants, right? So what you would have is you would have halfway between third and short, or third and second base. Shortstop has this from second base to halfway to third. Third baseman has everything from the line to halfway to second, right? And you kind of put everybody in their quadrant and you say, hey, you can't move out of this quadrant or something along that line. You may have to get somebody smarter than me to figure it out. But we're going to have to figure out something about the shift because putting 4 people on one side of the infield to stop people like Joey Gallo from getting on base. And I understand you just asked the question about, why can't you hit it the other way? I understand you just asking the question. But yeah. I've said this multiple times on Twitter, and I've had a lot of people that come at me with a lot of hatred with that same question. And they say, well, why don't they just hit it the other way? And it's like, your ass wouldn't be able to see the ball if they put you in the fucking batter's box.
Dude, I thought about that the other day. Somebody got through at like 90 something miles and it came pretty not at their head, but it was pretty high, in this area. And they just kind of went like that, I would have shit my pants. I would have absolutely shit my pants and been like, I'm not fucking doing this. I don't care how much you pay me.
Well, and the crazy thing about it is with the ball and it's got a high seam and spin rate and everything, you get the guy with the right curveball. If he throws the next pitch that looks like it's about to hit you in the head and you turn and run away like that, it curves and it's in the strike zone and it's strike 3 and you might as well just go ahead and go to the dugout.
I've seen those.
How unfair is that? Pitchers are so good.
I watch a lot. Admittedly, I watch a lot of John Boy, and I watched one of his. Yeah, I love him. I watched one of his videos where the pitcher. I don't know what team. I don't remember. The pitcher threw a curveball that the batter literally almost as soon as it came out of his hand, he backed up and then it landed, like you said, about middle of the plate. It just
Yes.
he buckled him. Like, that is insane. That is insane.
Hey, I pitched growing up. I pitched for a long time. I had a really good curveball. I put a lot of spin on it. I didn't understand spin rate, but I knew the more I turned this thing, the more it moved. As a kid, I figured that out. And I did that a couple times. And the last time I ever did it, I was in an adult league, and I was like 19 years old. And it was me, and I was pitching against the pitcher for the other team. He threw high 80s. He played, I think the highest he ever made it was like AA ball.
Oof.
We're talking about a really talented guy that was pitching for the other team, but I was playing against a team that was pretty damn good. And they rocked me that night. I think I pitched like 5 innings, gave up, I think 5 runs, maybe 6 or 7 hits. I walked a few guys. But I was playing some pretty good players. But I got one of their players out. Their backup catcher was the umpire that night. And because everybody, I mean, you kind of
have to do what you gotta do,
respect each other, and you're there to play.
It's for fun, yeah. It's not for anything, yeah.
But their starting catcher was up there, and and he's in the box, and him and the backup catcher are really good friends. And so I get 2 strikes on him. I think I threw 2 fastballs away, located him really good. He let one go, and it was a strike. And the second one, he foul tipped it. And so the next pitch, which I had been kind of wild because I always was, on the third pitch, my catcher calls for a curveball. And I know what I'm doing with it. I'm throwing it at his head. I used to throw my curveball intensely at people's head because it moved that way. and that's what it did. It went straight towards his head, dropped down, and the guy went like this, turned his head, turned all the way around. The backup catcher that was the umpire said, "Strike 3." His buddy turned around that was in the batter's box, looked at him and said, "You're out of your fucking mind if that's a strike." He said, "No, I swear to God." And they like were giggling, laughing at each other. And to do that as a pitcher, it's like the ultimate flex in the world. Like, you feel like a badass when you do that.
Yeah.
And just imagine, I'm a guy, I didn't make my middle school team, and I can make a curveball do that. So just imagine how good these guys that get paid millions of dollars, how good they can make a curveball look. For the people that don't understand why people swing at stuff in the dirt, go watch Rob Friedman on Twitter. Pitching Ninja is his name. Have you heard of him, Justin?
No, I actually haven't.
Look up this guy, is Pitching Ninja on Twitter. It'll show overlays of pitches. Halfway to home plate, a fastball can be down and away. A 2-seam fastball can be maybe like away, and the slider can be right down the middle. And then before they get there, the 2-seamer comes back, and it's in the middle of the strike zone while the slider is in the dirt. And yet the hitter has no idea what the hell he's doing because pitchers are so good. No, you got to check out Pitching Ninja, dude. And anybody that watches this, you need to check out Pitching Ninja to see these overlays, to maybe get an understanding as to why pitchers or hitters swing at some of the shit they do, because it is completely nuts what pitchers can make a baseball do.
Also, this also kind of leads me to another thing about baseball is lately there's been again, as an outsider, I feel like there's been an uproar, especially in the last few years, about how bad umping is. There has been. Do you think that's I guess it is a problem, but do you think that that's a real hindrance on baseball right now? Like, do you think it really matters that much?
I don't know if it's a real hindrance. I think what it is as a fan, I mean, I just get pissed off to the point where this guy shouldn't make the game about him. You shouldn't be able to throw somebody out if there are obviously reasons why you would throw somebody out of the game. But if an umpire goes out of his way to make a conflict with somebody or throw them out, he's making the game about him, and nobody's there to watch the umpire. Nobody pays money to watch the umpire. And then if they make bad calls, there's another Twitter page. It's called the Ump Scoreboard. It's the coolest thing in the world to watch. Or like,
I have heard that. Yeah, I've heard of that one.
And they'll show the established strike zone, what an actual strike zone looks like, the percentage of right calls. It's really not that bad. The umpires are a lot better than people think they are. I don't know if it's a major hindrance in the game, but at some point we're going to have robotic umps, and they're going to call everything the way it should be perfectly all the time, and you're just going to have humans stand out there that tell you what the robot umps. They're going to have little earpieces, and it's going to say strike, and they're going to say strike. and they're just going to be
Ah.
messengers. They're not going to be there to call the game anymore. They're going to be there to make sure nobody, like, if they need to throw somebody out, or it does, or they talk to the coaches if they come out. But eventually, robotic umps are going to rule the game, and I think that's probably a step in the right direction because,
Oh, you
like,
do? Okay.
well, like, I mean, Armando Galarraga pitched for Detroit about 10 years ago. Miguel Cabrera comes. He's got a perfect game through 26 outs. Last guy, Armando Galarraga gives up a hit to the right side of the infield. Miguel Cabrera goes over there, snags it. Galarraga, he goes to cover first base. Cabrera throws it to him. He's out by a whole step. Jim Joyce calls him safe. Takes away Galarraga's perfect game. It's a heartbreaking moment in baseball because I know what it took to pitch. I have no idea what it took to pitch at that level, but I know how much it took out of me physically to pitch. And to go 9 innings against professional hitters, the best players in the world, and not
During
give up
that
a
era
hit.
too. This is before there was 5 no-hitters in a week, you know.
Yeah. There's only been like 22 perfect games in baseball history.
Yeah.
Over 150 years or whatever. So, I mean, this doesn't happen every day. Hell, it doesn't happen every year. It happens like once every decade like once every other decade, statistically wise. But Galarraga had his perfect game taken away because an umpire made a bad call. Now we do have the challenge rule where you can challenge that, but there's too much stuff that's still up in the air, and human error shouldn't be the difference. Human error of somebody judging a call shouldn't be the difference between winning and losing for a team, or it shouldn't be the difference between getting a perfect game or not. It just shouldn't be, and it never should have been.
Yeah, that like you just telling that story kind of broke my heart. Like I can't imagine actually living that, you know.
But and I will say this too. Jim Joyce came out, I think, like the next day. He shook Galarraga's hand. He took 100% ownership of it.
Good of him.
He cried as a grown man. He cried in an interview afterwards, talking about it. He felt so bad. I get that, but guess what? Robotic umps. He never goes through that heartbreak. Galarraga never goes through that heartbreak. Those Detroit fans in those stands that day, they go home thinking, "Oh my God, I got to watch a perfect game in person."
Yeah.
Nope. Now, I mean, what do you tell your grandkids as you get older? If you got a baseball story you want to tell them, oh, I was at a game where the umpire messed up the call. I'll remember that story forever, but I won't remember it because it's a perfect game. I'll remember it because it got taken away, and it is. It's heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah. Hopefully baseball, like you said, it's never going to be fixed, but hopefully it takes steps in the right direction to become more relevant in the American pop culture, I guess, because I think that American sports are better when all 3 sports are at their best. NFL is probably at its best right now, I'd say. I mean, as far as I believe so. I think that the NFL is in its golden age right now. So I think that hopefully baseball can make the steps to come back to relevance.
Yeah, I don't think, I'll be honest, I don't think basketball will ever be as good as it ever was because the 3-point line has just changed.
Yeah, basketball is. I can't watch a basketball game anymore.
I'll watch a college basketball game because I love my team, but then again, you don't usually have a lot of college teams that put up 40 3-pointers in a game. It's just kind of boring to watch. It's more like one-on-one ISO ball. But baseball too has become boring because everybody tries to hit home runs. Football is extremely fun to watch. I think it is great. I kind of do miss the old days of like Sean Taylor taking out a punter. It was cool getting to watch people hit each other. But it's also, I understand why now because of concussions and everything. I understand why the game is the way it is, and it is fun to watch. But I will say one thing, and I'll be done on baseball. But the number one major hindrance for baseball as far as growing among younger people in America right now is local blackout restrictions.
Oh my God, dude, in Tampa, it's the worst. I can't watch the Tampa Bay Rays in Tampa. It's so fucking dumb. I hate it. I hate it so much.
I mean, since every other TV provider other than Comcast and AT&T dropped Bally Sports or Fox Sports, what it used to be network, I can't just buy YouTube TV for $50 a month like I used to just to watch the Braves game. Now I have to pay like $90 a month for Comcast, and I'm just not going to do it. I've got Sirius. I just listen to the game.
I got
just listen to
Sling. I got Sling, and that's what I've been doing. So
Sling
maybe...
doesn't have it anymore. Sling doesn't have Bally Sports here.
Oh,
it may
okay.
have it there. It doesn't have it here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and everybody dropped it except for Comcast and AT&T where I'm at. And that, I mean,
Well, I guess that makes sense though, because I haven't seen a single Rays game on Sling. So
yeah,
so that's probably why I'm watching more West Coast teams, because they're on the other side of the country.
yeah. Well, and they've got MLB TV where you can buy. You can pay $40 a month to watch every single out of market game. And
Yeah, that's what we have at my
I don't
work.
give a shit about watching the Texas Rangers. I want to watch the Atlanta Braves. You know, you have to download a VPN and then all kinds of other shit. At that point, it's like, how much trouble am I supposed to go to watch my favorite baseball team? It's destroying the game among young people. Young people like streaming. They like being able to watch whatever the hell they want, whenever the hell they want to. And Netflix being $12 a month is kind of spoiling people. Yeah, but I shouldn't have to pay $80 to $90 a month to have channels like Hallmark and HGTV because I want to watch the Braves game. I should be able to just get the Braves game, ESPN or Bally Sports or whatever the hell it is. I should be able to buy that package alone, but you can't do that. It's bullshit.
Yeah, that is really dumb.
That's ruining the game for young people because they can't watch it, and you're already boring the young people anyway, right? So if you're boring to young people, and then the young people that do like you can't watch you are completely screwing yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Because I mean, even no one's gonna like. I watched 8 innings of the Giants and Dodgers game. I fell asleep for 2 of the innings. Like it wasn't a close game, so I mean, yeah, that helps. But no one's gonna watch 9 innings of baseball unless they really, really love baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could have. Since the Braves game yesterday was on Fox, I could actually stream it through my web browser on my PlayStation. So I actually watched a few innings of it until we started to shit ourselves. So then I turned it off. But I legitimately, if I could watch every game, I would. For the most part, I mean, sometimes I have to work or sometimes they're playing like dog shit, and I don't want to watch some backup. Our last reliever give up 7 runs in an inning. So yeah, I don't watch it, but. Over 162 games, I'll watch 140 games. And when I could watch the game on YouTube TV, I watched every single game that I could when I wasn't working because I love baseball and I love the Atlanta Braves. But local blackout restrictions have completely screwed all of that.
Well, let's hope they figure it out, and let's get the hell out of here.
All right.
Thanks, Casey. Thanks, Lee, and even though you weren't here, Kyle, you're here in spirit.
No, you're not. Fuck you.
And we'll leave it at that. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And if you're watching through the whole thing, shout out to Forrest Law. He commented while we were doing the ranking of the NFL QBs about an hour ago now. And yeah, hope you guys have a great week. And we'll see you next time.
See y'all.
Yeah, that was